I knew about the Tuskegee experiment, and I also knew about the Tuskegee Airmen, but I had mashed it up into one, and I thought they gave the Tuskegee Airmen syphilis.
Man, come on, man. You got to read your history.
I swear to God, for the longest time, I thought
You do know that Tuskegee was founded by Booker T. Washington.
The guy who made peanut butter?
No, that's George Washington Carver.
Okay. Yeah, I heard you on. I'm a big big fan of Club Shay Shay.
Yeah,
you can't listen to him fast forward.
Right.
Shannon Sharp and fast forward.
Right.
Is maybe the funniest thing I've ever heard. It's just because he talks so like bubbly. He's just
yeah.
And so, but you said you grew up across the street from your grandparents, and that your parents knew each other growing up. Your dad was in the Vietnam War, and I just, man, my first thing was like childhood.
Yeah,
with that kind of safety around you, must be just beautiful.
Oh yeah, man. I grew up with so much love. I had all my great grandparents.
Really?
Yeah, I had my grandmom's mom and dad, my granddad's mom and dad. I met probably all except for one of my great grandparents. And one of my great grandparents lived to see me become an adult. Yeah, my great grandma. Yeah, my granddad's mother was 106 years old when she died. Her last name was Smiley, Cherry Smiley. Oh yeah. So I'm a good mix of a one. It's like my mom and dad or whatever. It's like an older brother, older sister.
Really?
Yeah.
How were your dad? Your dad passed in 72?
73.
73?
Yeah. I was 6.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You're only a couple years older than me. I was born in 72.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was born in 72.
Okay.
It's so funny. I've known who you are forever. I've known who you are as long as you started comedy when I was still in college.
Really? Where did you go to school?
Florida State.
Okay. Oh, FSU.
Yeah, I was there when Bobby Bowden was there.
Yeah. Bobby Bowden graduated from my high school. He's from Birmingham.
No.
Bobby Bowden graduated from Woodlawn High School.
Are you
Birmingham,
serious?
Alabama. Bobby Bowden, Kate Jackson, one of the original Charlie's Angels.
Yeah.
Myself, we are all graduates of the Woodlawn High School. And Tony Nathan.
Who's Tony Nathan?
Tony Nathan was a big football player for Alabama, but then he was a Super Bowl champion for the Miami Dolphins.
Okay.
So we all come from Woodlawn High School.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. That Bobby Bowden was like a hero to us. I mean,
oh yeah,
he was the man.
But I love when y'all whoop. Can we curse?
Yeah.
I love when y'all whoop Auburn's ass in the national championship.
Oh, I was there. I was there for most of it.
You was there?
I ate edibles and left.
That last 2 minutes, Jameis Winston.
That's actually right when I left. I ate edibles. I started having a panic attack going. I'm a dad. I'm with my kid. I should be with my kids right now. I got to fly to Munich tomorrow.
Are you serious?
And I swear to God, I walked out. I said, "Who wants beers?" Everyone put in their order, and I just walked out. I got in an Uber, and I called my wife. I go, "Baby, I'm coming home." She was like, "What?" I said, "I'm high, and I'm too high, and I want to be with my family right now." I go, "I've graduated. I'm not around. I'm not these guys anymore. I don't need to do drugs and drink with my boys."
During the national championship?
And she said, "You're such a fucking idiot." I said, "What?" She goes, "Baby, this is the best game. We're sitting here watching." And Tom Segura called me. He goes, "Can you believe this?" And I was like, I walked out of the stadium. He was like, "Are you fucking kidding?" Dude, I so regret it so much. You have no idea. Yep.
Man, I love that. That national championship was dope.
Yeah.
Jameis Winston, man, and that was a good game. Because I thought Auburn was going to beat y'all.
Oh, I thought the whole
Auburn had
when I walked out, I was like, "There's no way we're coming back from this."
Auburn's offense was that running back, man. They was out there balling, and Jameis Winston, man, who's, by the way, Birmingham again. Yeah. So
Birmingham is where the Stardome is, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, Birmingham's a great city.
Bruce gave me my start.
No,
Bruce Ayers put me on. Let me go on stage. Open mic night, November the 13th, 89.
89.
Yeah.
Well, were you? Wait, you must have been like 21. 21.
Probably. Yep.
Jeez.
Yeah, I got stories, man.
Well, it's I wrote a whole page. If someone brings my piece of paper up, let me see it. I wrote down because like when I moved to New York, I only hung out with black comics because like all the white comics were sober, all the black comics partied.
Yeah.
So like my first friend I met was Tony Woods. And,
oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. He's a legend. He's legendary.
He was my mentor.
Really?
The reason I would say if you saw me do stand up, you would see hints of Tony Woods, the same way you see it in Chappelle, you know?
Yeah.
You can catch a little bit of Tony Woods in younger Chappelle, not now.
Yeah.
Not now. I think Dave's on a very different level with stand up than any of us are, in my opinion.
Right.
But like the storytelling, I love storytelling. I just thought the way Tony told a story was beautiful.
Would be the feature act for Steve Harvey back in the early 90s. And I remember meeting him, man. I was like, man, this dude is dope as hell, man. He's one of my favorite comics. He's funny.
But your class, for lack of better terms, the BET Def Jam group, there were two different families.
Mm-hmm.
That group, and I know everyone likes to qualify, like, you know, what's going on in Austin right now, what happened in Chicago back in like the early aughts, and that New York scene in the late 90s, and LA when Dane popped, and all these great little moments.
Yeah.
Seattle, you know?
Yeah.
I want to just go through the fucking gangsters. And this is like, you're talking about my heroes.
Yeah.
Earthquake.
Oh. Roommate.
No.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Earthquake would allow me to stay with him in his apartment in Atlanta. We would do gigs. The comedy club that was behind Houston's on Peachtree, Uptown Comedy Club, that was Earthquake and Gary Abdo, myself. That was our idea. We came up with that. I forgot the other comic, but we came up with that idea at the Waffle House. Gary Abdo knew somebody that would give us $80,000 to open up a comedy club. And we got it open, and I was the first one to hit the stage there.
That was one of my first open mics.
Really?
That exact club.
Yeah.
I didn't know there was a difference between black comedy and white comedy.
Yeah, we rode around and hired the first wait staff.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
That was the upstairs. Over, and like near Buckhead almost, right?
Behind Houston's.
Yeah.
You go sit in Houston's in between shows and walk back over and go back on stage. Yeah.
And I signed up for an open mic.
Yeah.
On a Monday, I think it was. Mm-hmm. And I did not know it was a black club, and I did not know that was a thing. I was real naive.
Right.
And I just walked in and I was like, is this gonna, and they saw me and they made fun of me the whole night. They're like, kept calling me Bertie Bert.
What?
Bertie Bert. They go, who are you? I said, Bertie, my name is Bert. He goes, Bertie Bert. And then the whole night, and the second to last comic to go on. And they're like, all right, this next comic coming on stage. They're like, oh shit. And he looked at me, he goes, I think it's Bertie Bert. And the whole place went nuts. And he goes, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Bert Kreischer. And I got up and they went nuts. And I was like, yeah, it was, my girlfriend was there with me. And she was like, I think we should leave. I was like, no, I don't think there's a difference. I think it's just comedy.
Right.
And then I was like, I don't think any of the stuff they're talking about, I talk about. I think we're good.
Right.
But then, man, I did not do well.
Oh, man. But you made it.
I made it.
Absolutely.
Earthquake said, Lavelle Crawford, Bruce, Donnell, Dave, Arnez J, Gary Owens, Steve Harvey, Chris Spencer, Red Grant, Chris Tucker, Martin, Hamburger, Bill Bellamy, Bernie Mac, Adele Givens, JB Smoove, Cheryl Underwood, some more, D.L. Hughley, Dion Cole. We're talking about a class of comedy that defined, dare I say, a culture.
Mm-hmm.
As important as hip hop was,
right?
What you guys did with comedy was equally as important, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah. I know everybody on that list. I could tell you a story for an hour about every single person. I remember Bill Bellamy got me on Def Comedy Jam.
Really?
So yeah, Def Comedy Jam came to Birmingham at the Alabama Theater, and I had two tapes. I said, I got to get this tape to somebody so I can get on Def Comedy Jam. So I waited in the lobby. Nobody came out. And somehow I found out what Florida Comics was saying. So I went and knocked on all the doors. And Adele Givens came to the door. I was like, hey, I'm comedian Rickey Smiley. I don't know who you are. Get the fuck away from. So she ran me off. So I said, I think I'll go back to the lobby. We laugh about it to this day. Adele, that's my sister. So Bill Bellamy comes down the escalator. And I walk over, shake his hand, introduce myself. I said, hey, I'm a comic. I live here in Birmingham. And I said, could you pass my tapes along to the, whoever, Bob Sumner. And he walked me over to Bob Sumner and introduced me and gave him the tape. And he was like, hey, this guy is good, Bob. You got to put him on. You got to put him on. I had just met Bill, but Bill was like, he liked me or whatever. And he was really, really nice. And that's how I ended up on Def Comedy Jam 93.
93.
When Martin Lawrence was the host. Yeah.
Really?
Yep. I think that was the last season that Martin Lawrence hosted. No, he hosted one more season after that, I think. And then Joe Torre became the host. But yeah, some more. Don D.C. Curry, Bruce, we all did open mic night together. Started out together, back in the late 80s, early 90s.
I took Bruce with us on the road.
Yeah.
We do this big summer festival.
Yeah.
And me and Tom Segura, my business partner, we do a podcast together.
Mm-hmm.
We've always been fascinated by black dudes in general.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
We were at the Improv one night, and Bruce had these beautiful, huge diamond earrings in.
Yeah.
Tom and I were just staring at him, and he's just holding the cord at the bar, perfectly pressed shirt, braids, gorgeous, and pulls out a wad of cash to tip, and Tom and I are just like staring at him.
He's large and he's in charge. He's so nice, they named him twice. Bruce.
And so I get the opportunity to, put on my dream festival of all the comics I want. So I want it to be diverse, but I want it to be like what I enjoy,
Yeah.
So we put out an offer to Bruce, and he does, I think he did 6 shows with us, like the whole week run.
Right.
And we're at the Gorge. Are you familiar with the Gorge?
Nah.
Can you pull up a picture of the Gorge? I mean, if you're talking about a white venue, this is it. Okay.
Right.
This is like Red Rocks on steroids. And Bruce is in. I'm just saying this, and I'm being real. Bruce, if you hear this, you know I love you, okay? So this is the Gorge. Pull up far right. Yeah, that one. So there is a huge gorge behind this stage, and this seats about anywhere from I think the capacity is 45,000. We had 25, 35,000 this night, right?
Right.
They camp out there.
Yeah.
And it's all dug into a gorge. So everyone's sitting on natural rock.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hippie as shit.
Right.
Now, right next to this stage on the far right is the main artist dressing room.
Okay.
And they're like, yo, can we give that to Bruce? I go, of course.
Yeah.
He's a legend. Whatever he wants.
Right.
We have on this tour, we have what I call legacy acts, which is the guys I'm a fan of, the guys that are my heroes.
Yes, sir.
So we give it to Bruce, and I walk in. Bruce. And we're talking Bruce. It's probably maybe 30,000 people out there.
Yeah.
All white. And Bruce is sitting in the room, and he goes, man, why'd you bring me here? I go, you're fucking amazing. He's like, this is this isn't what I like. This is crazy. I go, dude, they're going to fucking love you. I go, just, do you trust me? And he's like, man, this has been a really cool experience, but this is not what I normally do.
Right.
He's in a press shirt. Everyone else is in flip-flops with sunglasses on. And he went out and he fucking destroyed.
Oh, yeah.
He and I'm sitting in the back, FaceTime Tommy.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, Bruce is rocking the Gorge.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, we did the first comedy show ever at the Gorge.
Right.
And Bruce was the first black guy to ever headline the Gorge.
What? That's dope.
Yeah.
Bruce funny. I remember a guy decided that he wasn't going to pay Bruce one night. And then not only was he not going to pay him, he was going to talk trash.
Yeah.
And Bruce choked him, lifted him up, choked him, had him on the bar. And Bruce choked him until his pants came down.
Oh.
Bruce pants came down.
Oh, Bruce pants came down.
Next time you see Bruce, ask him about the guy in Birmingham that decided he wasn't going to pay him, and he choked the hell out of him and choked him on the bar, and his pants came down.
Man, there's so much, and I hope you understand where I'm coming from, but there's so much about the black experience in comedy.
Yeah.
Because we do have very different experiences.
Well, I started out, it was a white audience when I started.
You started doing white audiences? Your first black audience was Ice Cube and
Too Short, Ice Cube, Too Short, D Nice.
And the what was the name of his
NWA. No. Lynch Mob.
Lynch Mob.
Oh, I come out on stage with my comedy club routine, not taking the mic out the stand, trying to be like Happy Cole. They booed my ass. They was booing. The sopranos was booing, the altos, the tenors. They was booing in octaves. It was bad.
This is not your average boring wristwatch. This is what we're talking about. This is original grain. This is from reclaimed Jack Daniel whiskey barrels, and the one I'm wearing on my wrist. And I love the inlay of this. It's so pretty. And I say inlay because it's made from Taylor guitar tone woods, and they also have one with actual military ammo crates. That's the kind of watch you wear when you want a story to tell without saying a word. Someone looks at it and they're just like, whoa, what is that? Just, yeah, that's right, baby. They got insane attention to detail too. I mean, it is wild. These are beautiful. We're talking quality Japanese movements, smooth, durable, sexy. I'm telling you, this is the watch that someone's going to spark a conversation on a plane. Some chick's going to go, nice watch. You go, why, thank you. I play the guitar. That's why I got it. Oh, here's the part that makes me feel great about this company, about being a consumer for once. They give all their proceeds to planting trees and helping veterans with PTSD. You're not just buying a watch. You're buying a watch and getting some badass consciousness with it. And it's just in time for Father's Day. Boom, $100 off right now with their sale. But if you want to use my code BERT at originalgrain.com, you can get an extra $50 off. That's $150 off. And tell Dad you love him. Tell Dad you love him with some rugged, refined beauty. Tell him you love him with a whiskey barrel strapped to his wrist. Tell him you love him with the guitar, Tonewood. Look at it. I mean, absolutely beautiful. Look, I'm a dad, and I've gotten some crap gifts. This is not a crap gift. This is beautiful. And I got to show you the box, too, just so you know where you're getting it from. Little coin. Maybe Dad wants to take this out and play golf. Go to originalgrain.com/Bert and use promo code Bert and get your dad or yourself a piece of history you can wear. This is not just a gift. This is a flex. Are you like me and you've been looking for a natural way to relieve aches and discomfort? I swear to God, the older I get, the more I start thinking I have arthritis. The CBD gummies from Cornbread Hemp are formulated to work with your body, not against it. Cornbread Hemp CBD gummies are made to help you feel better, whether it's stress, discomfort, or maybe just a little relaxation at the end of the day. They only use the best part of the hemp plant, the flower, for the purest and most potent CBD, formulated to help relieve discomfort, stress, and sleeplessness. All products are third-party lab tested and USDA organic to ensure safety and purity. And I'm telling you, these bad boys are perfect. I take one now, but I'd be in bed in an hour. They smell like bedtime. I think that's Pavlovian to me, because right before bed, I pop one, and then I don't have to worry about any aches in my shoulders when I wake up in the morning because I bench press so much. Right now, Bertcast listeners save 30% on their first order. Just head to cornbreadhemp.com/Bert and use code BERT at checkout. That's cornbreadhemp.com/Bert and use code BERT. So what were you doing when you were doing like what you would consider white material? Or like what was I would say
mainstream, because you started out like in a comedy club, like it wasn't no black folks going to the comedy clubs when I started.
Really?
Black folks, the first time I saw black people in a comedy club when Steve Harvey came to town and they did Win Night, WENN, that's the black radio station, owned and founded by Dr. A.G. Gaston, who was the grandson of a slave who became a millionaire that opened up one of the first black-owned banks in the United States. He has one in Atlanta. It's called Citizens Federal. And so they had WENN night. That was the midnight show. It was all white people. But at the midnight show, it was all black people.
Really?
So that was the first time I ever saw anybody perform in a comedy club with all black people. So I stayed around. I was like, because I was still doing open mic night. Mm-hmm. And he came on stage, Queen Latifah, For the Love of Money, that song. Dun-dum, 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 bum. And he went on stage and totally destroyed that audience. I never seen people laugh like that. Really? And he put on a hellified performance. Like he was a bad MF back in the day on stage when it came to that raw stand-up. He would get on a roll and people couldn't breathe. Yeah. I saw it with my own eyes. I was like, I sat there and I watched him and I was really, really inspired by that. So that's when you start seeing black people coming out to comedy clubs. And then when Def Comedy Jam came after that, because I think that was like 90. Def Comedy Jam came out like 92 maybe.
No, it was before that because I was in high school.
Really?
I only say that because my only frame of reference for comedy was Def Comedy Jam.
Well, BET Comic View, I think, was first.
Yeah, but I didn't watch BET.
Back when D.L. Hughley was the original host
what
year? Comic View. Oh, man.
D.L. Hughley was the original?
Was the original host of Comic View. He was the first host.
Can I tell you how much shit gets slept on?
Yeah.
Can I tell you, I'm just casually going to say, Martin was one of the best sitcoms that's ever been made in the history of sitcoms.
Oh, sure.
Does not get the respect that they give Seinfeld and Friends. Martin, I'm going to say it right now. Martin's better than fucking Seinfeld.
Oh, yeah.
Martin was so funny. And you could...
Oh, yeah.
It was so alive.
Yeah.
I mean, I can quote Martin maybe as much as I can quote Seinfeld.
Right. Yeah, man. No, wait a minute. You know what? You might be right about that. Def Comedy Jam and then
find out when Def Comedy Jam started. Because I only know that because our frame of reference for comedy was Def Comedy Jam first. Dice, and Sam Kinison was when I was in 8th grade.
Right.
Dice was when I was in 10th grade.
Yeah.
But then Def Comedy Jam showed up, and I remember watching New Year's Eve, watching Def Comedy Jam.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
92? No, I was in college.
Yeah. Yeah, see that D.L. Hughley? Yeah, man. And he was had a little high box fade back then. D.L. Hughley looked like he was 15 years old. And they would do Comcam, right? So they would say, hey, let's see what's going on in Birmingham, Alabama. And then they'll show a clip of comics performing all over the country in the comedy club.
Really?
Yeah, so you went out there out in L.A. live on stage. He would go to Comcam, and they would show different comics from all over the country. And
did you have any frame of reference for because one of my favorite, I mean, I'm trying to say this right. When I first heard hip hop in the South, I felt it a certain way, right? And then when I moved to New York, I was like, I don't really understand this. It's very different hip hop. It's and then someone's like, it's meant for headsets. And I was like, huh?
What?
And I was like, well, you're supposed to listen in your car. I want bass. I want 808. And then, but when I went to, the first time I went from New York to LA and did stand up, all of a sudden I understood what they were saying about hip hop. And I was like, New York was almost like working out in prison with a broomstick and cinder blocks. You only did stand up. Your stand up was so that you didn't get fucked with on stage. And then you came out to LA and everyone had abs, and it was they were doing spin classes, and stand up was different. It was about material, set up punch. I've got an act. I want you to see it. Did you notice that coming from the South and then going to New York and going to different areas of the country like Chicago? Yeah.
Well, I for me, people just like my punchlines. I was just funny.
You never got the stereotype of he's from Alabama and they're like, boo.
Well, they booed me on Showtime, the Apollo, when he said, when Mark Curry was the host, he said, coming to the stage from Birmingham, Alabama. They were like, boo. And they were really booing. And I remember walking on stage, Mark Curry was like, just play to the camera. He's like, your shit's gonna air. Don't worry about it. They'll edit that out. So I went on stage. I went through my material. I was playing to the camera. They was booing the whole time. They was booing from start to finish. I said, thank you. Good night. My name Rickey Smiley. Walked off stage, right? So it aired. So I'm sitting at home. I didn't know when it was going to air. I didn't care. I was like, I hope they don't show that or whatever. I hope it gets cut, whatever. It's showtime at the Apollo. It was H-Town, comedian Jay Lamont, and comedian Rickey Smiley. I was like, oh, God. And so went to commercial break. So when I came out and performed, they edited out the booing. And they had people laughing. And when I said, thank you, good night, standing ovation. And all of a sudden, it was no cell phones back then. My phone started ringing. Hey, we see you. I'm like, yeah, thank you. I'm like, they don't know I got booed for real. So, true story.
That happened to Tig Notaro. You know Tig Notaro?
The what?
Tig Notaro, she's a comedian. Very popular.
Right, yeah.
Me and her did Premium Blend together.
Mm-hmm.
And I crushed. I mean, I destroyed.
Yeah.
And she bombed.
Right.
But she just told her jokes and then no one laughed, and told her jokes and no one laughed. And when I watched it, she murdered, and I was so high energy. I was so loud that I bombed.
Right.
And I was like, shit, man. And when I swear to God, by the way, we got to give a shout out to your new special, Foolish, on Hulu, streaming right now. It's amazing.
You saw it?
I'm 23 minutes in, but I'll tell you what.
Was you laughing?
Buddy, I dye my beard. What was the one joke that got me good? Oh fuck! I wish I could tell you the one joke that got me good, because as a comic, you feel like you should know where we're going.
My
with
600-pound life TV show.
When you're watching her like a fucking Chrysler, like a fucking
Dodge Charger.
Dodge Charger. My daughter, you just met my daughter. We were downstairs, and I pulled her aside. I go, "You got to see this joke."
Right.
She watches my 600-pound life.
That's my show. God. I get recipes off of there. Yeah, man. I made a tater tot casserole, and I tried it, and I got it from my 600-pound life. It was pretty good. The kids love it.
I was on vacation in Hawaii, and I was with my 600-pound person and their feeder, and I watched their feeder. Every time their feeder went to go get food, I got food for my wife. Yeah. And I was like, I just want to see the pace that we eat at. And man, guy was in a wheelchair, swollen legs, neck, couldn't move its head, head, and I was like, wow. And I followed them everywhere.
Yeah, all of the people, they in every episode, all the women on my sister, they all have a man. They all have a man. They all have a minivan, because that's how they get to Houston.
Yeah.
To meet Dr. Now.
And he's always a dick.
At
first, he's cool.
Yeah, he comes in, hello.
But he's dealt with so many of those fucking liars.
But that lady, he told, one lady was like, I can't eat this food. She was like, I'm going to starve. He said, ma'am, you have eaten to last for the next 4 years. That about wiped me out. I literally laid on the floor. That's my show. My 600-pound life and First 48. Those are my shows.
Oh, my 600-pound life. My daughters, we were in a hotel room.
Yeah.
My daughters found it, and they just both perked up. They're like, Dad, I think we found our show.
Yeah.
And they're like, Dad, they're sisters. This is going to be a good one.
Yeah, one of the twins got pregnant.
They've lost weight. They're like down to like 200 pounds right now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
It never looks good.
Right.
I mean, like, it's once you're at 600, might as well stay there.
Yeah. Now, man, I'm glad you enjoyed the special, man. I had
it's amazing.
so much fun.
But your old shit. It's like your old shit. We were playing it in the gym this morning.
Yeah.
Dude, it's like I don't even know how old this is.
With the prank phone call?
No, everything. We're watching it in the gym today.
Right.
And we're laughing our fucking ass off going like, it still kills.
Oh, crazy.
It still murders. Like, you watch my old shit, it's dated. You're like, what's up with the real world?
Oh, come on, man.
Dude, it fucking murders. I'm dying. I want to dig in. I want to dig into like your childhood and then and high school and going to college, because all the shit that forms the guy that we get today. Mm-hmm. You had an interesting take on, there was your Q dog, and there was for all my white listeners, that's Omega Sci-Fi. Yeah, it's one of the like two most popular black fraternities. Sure. Now black fraternities are
they always do parties with the Pikes.
Yeah,
like FSU is always accused in the Pikes, always doing something together. Yeah,
and so everyone knows it's this.
Yeah,
like it's you've seen every fucking someone scores a football touchdown.
Shaq, Michael Jordan.
Yeah, and
Charlie Ward.
Charlie Ward, yeah. Charlie Ward. God, man, what a hero!
Won the Heisman Trophy and went to the NBA. Is that not crazy?
So smart.
Yeah. Love Charlie Ward. I would love to meet him one day.
Oh, I would love to too.
Yeah.
Let's make that happen. I'll be in Atlanta. Let's set it up. Let's but I got hazed when I was in a fraternity. I was in ATO. I got hazed, and I'm sorry to say that, and I know that's crazy. I'm sure you got hazed. Mm-hmm. Hazing in the black fraternities they always said it was way worse than white fraternities. There was brandings going on. There was it was just wild. I mean, that was like the folklore of being in a white fraternity was like, man, the black fraternities, they go to the next fucking level.
Yeah.
And there was a tragedy that came out recently at
Southern University
that you spoke out about.
Caleb
And that is the first time, Caleb Morris?
Caleb Wilson.
Mm-hmm. It's the first time I feel exactly the way you do. I feel exactly the way you do. Yeah. And I'm gonna say what you said to my friends. Mm-hmm. Is the guys I have beef with, the guys that give me attitude, are the guys that have only been ATOs and that's it. Mm-hmm. And they never did anything else with their lives, and they fucking. And you said the fucking last 5 fights you've ever been in was with Q dogs that were like that were, and you said it so poignantly.
Physical altercations was with members of the same fraternity that I'm in, and with the part that's not the part that make me angry. The part that gets me really angry is that our organization is one of the greatest organizations in the world.
Started in 1911.
1911.
1911.
Yeah. Howard University.
I'm so sorry I'm talking so much, but
no, you good.
People need to put perspective on when this was started. In 1911 at
Howard
University. 1911.
Yeah.
And their foundations were, the founding fathers established 3 benchmarks of like brotherhood and virtue.
4.
And 4. What were they?
Manhood, scholarship, uplift, perseverance. Manhood, scholarship, perseverance, uplift.
Now, in that process, and ours were virtue, truth, and love. I don't know what I think. I don't remember.
Now I'm gonna be cat because I didn't see them in the right order.
I know. Now I'm gonna be like,
once you do something wrong,
some ATOs right now are watching me going, "Come on, man."
Now you cat. And I just feel like our founders are absolutely awesome. The history is deep. The history is rich. And our organization was not founded on that. I don't know where that came from, that behavior came from. And I spoke, I've been speaking out before this happened. I spoke at an undergrad summit one time, and I talked about hazing and touching, putting your hands on people, because I said, what I said was, when I spoke at the undergrad summit, I said, we are one pledge process away from someone going to the trunk and clearing out a whole chapter.
Yeah.
And but unfortunately, either way, this young man was killed. I had some incidents with a family member that was pledging also, and we just not with that. There are wonderful members of our organization.
Yes.
Ben Crump is a member of Omega Psi Phi. Ben Crump graduated from FAM. You got Congressman James Clyburn. Congressman from South Carolina. It's a lot of wonderful members of this fraternity, like myself and Steve and Dr. Cosby and different ones, Shaquille O'Neal, that pour money into these organizations. And all of the organizations need to understand we are down to one insurance company. That insurance company decided not to insure these organizations. There will be no more, and it needs to stop. You know what I'm saying? People come from broken homes looking for brotherhood. People grew up like myself without a father and without a brother coming looking for brotherhood. Why is this happening? This stuff is happening being a member, and not just Omegas, Kappas, Sigmas,
ATOs,
Alphas,
SAEs, Lambda Chi, KAs, you name it.
Hazing needs to stop.
And listen, I'm gonna say it. I took part of hazing. I got hazed. But the things that happened to me that I didn't like, I didn't do.
Right. And
I remember at a certain point going, there's like the fun hazing of like the first week or 2 where you yell at someone.
Oh yeah, that stuff is that stuff is fine. But when
give
you
me the creed.
yeah. Squeezing a banana in the toilet, they making you think it's but when
we have to say, because there is a lightheartedness of hazing.
Yeah.
One of my favorite hazing stories ever. And listen, this is going to sound really fucked up. This is a white fraternity, okay? Mm-hmm. You got to understand that. Put perspective on what you're about to hear. Mm-hmm. There's a bunch of white boys.
Yeah.
Naked, Hell Week. Everyone's standing naked in the room, in the lounge. Paddle and pledge book behind your back, blindfolded. Mm-hmm. And one of the brothers goes, there is a biscuit the center of the room. The last person to ejaculate on it has to eat it. Gentlemen, go. And you're like, I don't.
No way.
I'm not this. No, this is white hazing.
Right.
And you're like, well, I don't want to jerk off on a biscuit, but I definitely don't want to eat a biscuit with 33 dudes jerked off on it.
Right.
And you're like, what should I do? And as you're processing this thought, a brother comes up to you and goes, pull up your blindfold. And you lift up your blindfold, and in the center are just jerking off with blindfolds by themselves.
That's bad.
And we just watched. Watched, and we went, and then they came and we clapped.
Oh.
I would argue that's better than having to eat it. I mean, it was
total man law violation.
No, that was what white guys did. You got to edit both their names out. but that was white guy hazing. It was usually but then, I got punched in the face by a dude who's a preacher now. I got punched in the face by him. Yeah. And the physical shit. And I'll tell you, I'll even argue this. Mm-hmm. The making someone drink until they throw up, I also could get rid of that.
No, they didn't do that to my line. I didn't get. I can honestly say I came in a beautiful, a wonderful, awesome chapter, the Cyro chapter. I'm now a member of Alpha Phi. My pledge process was awesome. It was meaningful. Rest in peace, Dr. McMillan. Was there when I crossed those burning sands, and Omega Psi Phi still means a lot to me. Or whatever. I just had to back up a lot. I don't fraternize like I used to. I deal with bros on an individual basis. Like if I meet a bruh, in the airport, or bros come to my show, and they come to my shows not because they're Qs, because they are fans of comedy. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of the stuff, like going to different stuff, conventions and conclaves and stuff like that, I'm cool with that, because I don't ever want to leave a situation wondering, like, why am I a part of this? If I leaving the conclave feeling bad, and you keep going, why do you keep subjecting yourself to that? And
what is that? What is that? That does happen.
I don't know what it is, but I tell you this: a lot of bros and most all organ, not just Omegas, the founders never would have selected. The founders never would have selected, because everything that I know and everything that I've learned and everything that I've read about my fraternity does not match with some of the behavior I see. There are great people out here that's doing things in the community. My chapter out here, we have Omega Psi Phi have a lot of wonderful programs. We have a fraternity full of judges, full of college presidents, full of not just athletes. I'm talking about people out here really making moves and doing things. A lot of doctors, a lot of pilots. I remember going to the conclave, and I'm seeing all these private planes where bros are pilots. Powerful people doing some wonderful things. And I have absolutely no regrets of being a member of Omega Psi Phi, but I just have to move in a different way now, because I don't want to go to jail, because I don't like being disrespected, and nobody's entitled to anything just because you're a bruh.
But you gotta explain that to the average listener. Doesn't understand what we're talking about. Yeah. Is that when you're a brother with someone in these fraternities and these organizations, sometimes they never see you as the guy other than the guy they knew in college. Mm-hmm. They're gonna fuck with you. They're gonna push buttons. I've had them come to my shows, be like, "You're a fat fuck now, huh?" And you're like, "Hey, man,
stuff like that.
I just comped 15 tickets. Comped 15 tickets. Can you just be cool for the day?" Yeah. I know that, like, it's crazy. You
just have to surround yourself with good bros that you're comfortable with. I got some that I love, man. Brian White, Dark Nasty. Just different guys that we are brothers for Steve Smith. We are brothers like in real
Jeff
life.
Harley, Damian Burdick. Like my guys.
Yeah.
I go back to a Florida State game and I go to the ATO box.
Sure.
I hang out with my guys. Now, there's guys that we didn't get, and I go to shows and I'll see like pledge class below me come out, and I'll give them love, and it's or the pledge class above me. A lot of those guys I ran into at Gasparilla in Tampa.
Sure.
And it's so amazing.
Yeah, I show love and respect.
But I know what you're saying.
But you have to set boundaries. And
God, man, and you said it so perfectly, because there is this weird thing of like,
And we don't want to say it, jealousy. Yeah, jealousy. Because for some of them, and I'm not talking in all the organizations, those Greek letters is all that they have. They don't have nothing else. They have not accomplished nothing else. They have not accomplished what you have accomplished, right? So a lot of them try to bring you down to that because they might have the ritual and read more stuff and might know more stuff about the fraternity than you. Well, you busy. You got a morning show. You a comic. You raising kids. You doing TV shows. You memorizing scripts. Life is lifing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm 56 years old. I'm not in the bed reading the ritual.
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So, you meet people and you get challenged or whatever, and then the disrespect come when you don't fit into their narrative or know what they think that you should know or whatever, and then it becomes disrespect. But the brothers that's really out here paying dues and doing things in the community and helping people and getting people out to vote, they don't do that stuff. It's just always the ones that have no other ID. And I'm talking about all the organizations, not just mine.
All of them. Not just R2.
Right.
We're talking about everyone.
All of them. Some of them, that's all they have. They won a step show in 92. They came in second place, and they're a campus legend in 92, and that's all they have to stand on. And you got a full body of work.
Just said. That's the dopest word you can ever fucking
win. And they hitting you up, and I'm Dr. Rickey Smiley.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Like you might not think a lot of me, but somebody thought enough of me to give me an honorary doctorate from a accredited university.
Yeah.
And to do the commencement speak at a college graduation. Done a lot of great things. NAACP Image Awards, just a lot of a full body of work.
Yeah.
And sometimes everybody's not happy for you. Every brother is not your friend, and every friend is not a bruh. So
anywhere worth going is worth going in good boots. Find your perfect pair with Tecovas. Tecovas boots frickin' rock. You owe it to your feet to put on a pair of Tecovas. These things are so damn comfortable. Find comfort in traditions of the West and confidence for making it your own. This is my boot. I picked this boot. I can honor the West by leaving my boot print everywhere. Tecova crafts quality Western boots for everyone, from generational ranchers to lifelong cowboys to first-time boot buyers. That's probably you. Right now, you're like, Bert, I have boots. I'm a boot guy. Well, I'm a boot guy too. But these things, man, I love these because jeans have changed over time, and I don't want to wear a boot up to here. And that's when I stopped wearing boots. These things, zipper on the side, are so slick. And here's the thing. Every one of Tecovas boots are handcrafted with over 200 meticulous steps for broken-in comfort right out of the box. Whether it's a long day, a big night, or you're going to the Forum to watch your buddy Hardy play with Stephen Wilson Jr. and Co Wetzel, your Tecovas are built to last and impress. There's no compromise between quality and style. I'm telling you, these are mine. They're the Dean Black Cherry Crocodile. They are hot, and I love that they're patinaing a little bit. I'm sure that, like a real boot guy's like, shine that out, boy. But I kind of like that they're starting to look a little beat up. And right now you can get 10% off at tecovas.com/Bert when you sign up for emails and text. That's 10% off at tecovas.com/Bert. Tecovas.com/Bert. See site for details. Tecovas. Point your toes west. That's west. I got a buddy, Tom Segura, who every time he gets in his Porsche, he goes, dude, don't you love this car? I don't really care about cars. Let me tell you something. Every time I get in my bed, I look at Leanne and go, don't you love this bed? My bed is better than a hot sports car. And I'm telling you, because I have a Helix mattress. I personally have the Midnight Luxe medium feel for side sleepers. I sleep like a baby. And let me tell you what's beautiful about this. I don't know if Helix created this or if this was out and about, but I took this 2-minute sleep quiz. God, I must have taken it now probably 4 years ago. I was having so many problems with my shoulder and my scapula for sleeping. And I took it. And when the first mattress came, I was like, throw away every single mattress we have. I don't sleep on anything unless it's a Helix, because I know Helix knows me. Helix knows my body and how I sleep at night. And that's why I sleep like a baby. I'm telling you, I'll pull up my sleep score for last night. Take a look at this bad boy. Sleep score for last night, 87%. Deliver it right to your house. Drop it off at your front door. You can set it up in less than 2 minutes. It's the best sleep I've ever had in my entire life. Screw a sports car. Get a Helix mattress. Go to helixsleep.com/Bert for 20% off site-wide. That's helixsleep.com/Bert for 20% off site-wide. helixsleep.com/Bert. The two fraternity brothers I met in life after college. Mm-hmm. And I say this to radio. I think you might know him. You know Elliot in the Morning in DC 101? Yeah. DC 1, probably one of the biggest stations. Mm-hmm. But definitely one of the biggest rock stations on the East Coast.
Right.
He was an ATO. He had me on to do radio because I was an ATO.
Yeah.
And the other one was Guy Fieri.
Okay.
Guy Fieri, we're backstage at a Travel Channel thing, and he grabs my hand.
Yeah.
Says the little fucking code word. And I was like.
And you know the Two Live Stews, they bros.
What?
The Two Live Stews.
For real?
What were those? Yeah, they bros.
No way.
Two Live Stews. Steve Harvey.
Steve Harvey?
Steve Harvey's a bro. I'm talking about all the bros that's in radio. Some bros that own radio stations, but Tom Joyner.
I think what they should do is they should match up black and white fraternities to be like almost like brother fraternities, and that's how we break down racism.
Right.
But you guys, did you go to an HBCU?
I did, Alabama State University.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is what I get excited about.
Yeah.
So I'm like obsessed with HBCU cheerleaders. Like obsessed.
Oh yeah. I was too. I couldn't pull one.
I never even got. Yeah. I just watched their videos online.
When I was in school, if you wasn't on the baseball team or on the football team, you was not pulling a cheerleader or the stinghead or Major Ray probably could get one of the honeybees, but not one of the stinghead. You was not pulling one of those. They were like stars on campus. Yeah.
Dude, what's the age? I asked Doug Williams. I interviewed Doug Williams played for the Redskins, played for the Bucks. And no disrespect to Doug, but I don't think he really. I think we're so much different in age. Mm-hmm. I don't really saw it. Me and you were closer.
Yeah.
What is the HBCU college experience like?
Oh, it's everything.
As a black man growing up in what I can only assume is in the South. I mean, once again, we're a little different in age, but I knew what racism was. It was there. It was real. I mean, for people that didn't understand it, it was like there was a black high school and there was a white high school where I grew up. Mm-hmm. There were two black high schools. A Latino.
Oh, this is not beer. This is water.
Yeah.
Y'all thought I was drinking a Coke 45? Yeah, this is what your grandma and your grandparents drunk on the weekend. If you're in the black community, the cans look like this. This look like a Coke 45.
It does.
Right?
Yeah.
You remember Billy D. Williams?
A little more silver in it.
Yeah, Billy D. Williams used to do the Coke 45 commercials. Coke 45.
Oh. I mean, like, if you say racism to my daughters, I don't think they really see it. I don't think they know it. I mean, they know Black Lives Matters and stuff, but our age group, I mean, there was like, Florida State, there was FAM in Florida State. Mm-hmm. And there was two different communities.
Yeah.
And then growing up, there was two black high schools, a Latino high school, a redneck high school, two redneck high schools, and then like a rich white high school, all public. Right. And there's some private high schools.
Right.
But like, I'm curious, like, what your high school experience was, and then what it was like to take that to go to college.
It was almost like the same. Woodlawn High School, about 4 or 5 neighborhoods was zoned for Woodlawn High School. It was awesome. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of culture. Had a lot of great teachers. Same thing when you got to college. I remember a lot of my college professors was Greek themselves, and they was like big brothers. I think about Mr. Nunn. I remember Mr. Nunn being a Sigma. I remember at Miles College, Miss Adadova. She was, I think, if I'm not mistaken, was from Nigeria or whatever. It was so much culture at Alabama State University. Now, I'll tell you, going to a HBCU when I was in school, when you graduated college, you became something. And not only did you, graduate college, you become something, you knew how to act. You have manners, you have integrity, you have respect. Good morning, how are you? Common sense, common courtesy, decency. It's just something about college professors really took a lot of time and talked to you about a lot of stuff, especially like in middle school. I just remember your 6th grade teacher getting in your ass about not putting on enough deodorant, or you didn't comb your hair, you need to dress better for this, that. Like they was in your butt about stuff like that. And I think from middle school to high school, you had you have your proper bougie teachers that sit up straight, don't chew with your mouth open. Hey, here's how the proper way to hold a spoon. Or they will walk around and give you a little small etiquette in the lunchroom. The proper way to hold a spoon and a fork. I remember third grade teacher getting on us about not holding your fork and your spoon the right way. And it's just training, man. I had the best teachers ever. I would not be where I am if it was not for my elementary school, middle school, high school, college professors. If it was not for them and my grandparents, I would not be where I am. And I'm not perfect, but I promise you, man, every day, and my grandparents dead and gone, I wake up trying to make them proud every single day. Every single day. Right, so that's why I try to make sure I carry myself in a proper manner.
The number one syndicated morning show in the world. I think you're doing pretty good.
I'm trying.
I think everyone would be really fucking proud. I got some teachers that still tell me to go fuck myself. I got some teachers that still look at me like, but it's so interesting you say that because it's the truth is like, I've listened to you on a bunch of shows. Mm-hmm. Breakfast Club. I mean, your Shay Shay appearance is amazing. But you talked about something that I struggle with a little bit. I grew up in the South and I say yes ma'am, no ma'am to people. Mm-hmm. Yes sir, no sir, and I'm 52, and I'm getting on planes in a culture where they want. We're not even talking. We're talking pronouns. We're talking like, how dare you assume my gender? But I was raised saying yes ma'am and no ma'am to everyone. Right. And I heard you say something about it about like, even as a black man saying that, it sounded like it didn't sound right for you or something, but that's how you were raised.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just having respect. If I go to McDonald's and the young lady behind the counter is 23 years old, and I'm old enough to be her dad, I'm still going to have enough respect for her to say yes, ma'am. Yes, yes, ma'am. And when I'm getting off a plane, any woman that's around me do not have to grab her bag from the overhead bin. I'm grabbing bags, popping them up. A lady fell at the airport just now, probably about an hour ago, trying to grab her bag. I was going over to try to help her with the bag, and she tried to get the bag off the belt, and man, she fell, and I almost got her before but I snatched her up real quick, made sure she was okay, got her bag. Man, it's just some stuff, man, you just have to do because it's the right thing to do.
And from your mouth to God's ears, I do that. And if I'm on a plane and I got weird energy, I got like let's have a conversation energy.
Right.
I just do. And if I see anyone older than me and anyone older, like a man comes on and he's like 70 years old, sir, do you need help with anything? Any woman, I always offer my help. And man, you get some nasty eyes. And if a flight attendant comes by and I call them ma'am, man, I've been cut off from drinking because I called them ma'am. And they're like, how old do you think I am? And I'm like, oh, fuck, man.
Oh, they'll be all right. You know what I'm saying? I had a lady tell me, she said, you are a distinguished gentleman. She said, I've been a flight attendant for over 20-something years, and it has been a pleasure to serve you. Because when the flight attendant comes, I make eye contact. Yeah. I said, thank you. How are you? When I get on the plane, welcome to Delta Airlines. Hi, how are you? Okay, and
you got to be like a million miler on Delta by now. Right?
Yeah,
you got to be sick.
Delta has become like Greyhound. Like I fly so much like riding a damn bus.
Yeah,
or whatever. But we had 3 meatballs today. We had 3 meatballs, salad, some garlic bread. We ate pretty good. I was asleep. I smelled that food. I woke my ass up and ate.
Hey, hang on. I used to have a joke that never worked, but it's so true. Black men can fall asleep anywhere.
Oh yeah.
Black men fall asleep on planes like it's a horror movie.
You know, I was in 1D today, so I'm sitting facing a wall.
Right at the wall. Like I sat next to Common on a flight, and in Chicago, he fell asleep before takeoff. The worst turbulence of my life. We land in LA. I've already written 3 memoirs of this is what to do with my family and my goods. Yeah. I've taken 2 Xanax. I've drank 6 beers. This motherfucker has the nerve to look at me at landing and goes, have we taken off yet? I was like, God damn it. I don't know. Yeah. My dad's got a sleep apnea mask. He takes pills. He's got to lay on one side. He throws up in his mouth, breathes it into his throat. I mean, like, white guys can't sleep for shit.
I was on a red eye with Usher, sitting next to Usher. And we were flying back to Atlanta from LA. And lady put his food down, and he was sleeping. And I was really hungry. I got ushered for his tray. So every time I see him perform, that thought is always in my head. There, yeah, yeah. I got that tray.
Do you get impressed at all by the celebrities that come through?
Do the morning show. I had Tyrese this morning.
Oh, Tyrese?
Yeah, I had Tyrese on this morning.
Baby boy?
A baby boy. Oh man, he's like a brother.
Let me smell your dick, Tyrese. Are you? Hold on, you had Tyrese on. The reason we say,
man, put me on one of your shows.
Dude.
I just want to perform. I'm gonna show up at one of your shows and just do a guest spot,
buddy. I
just want to come into your world and do a guest spot. You don't have to fly me there. You don't have to worry about me. I just want to show up.
Wait, hold on. You had Tyrese this morning?
Yeah.
You had wait, hold on. I wish white people love black people as much as I love black people. Because you don't understand what a gift Tyrese is on a morning show. Now, Tyrese
he's going to give it all to you.
His movie, 1992, is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Snoop produced it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
He's great in it. His beard's weird in one scene, but that's it.
Right.
But he's been wild. Like, he's been wild, talking wild. How was he on the show?
Oh, man, he was fun.
Yeah.
You have to do 2 breaks. You can't just do 1 break. You have to do 3 breaks and probably drop a song because, he take his time. You ask him a question, he's going to take his time and answer.
Yeah.
And he's going to go down through there or whatever. Me, most people just answer the question. Tyrese you're going to break it down, break everything down. So he is always good. If you ever get an opportunity to interview Tyrese, man, he has a lot of wisdom and a lot of knowledge. I love.
Baby boy, that movie fucked me up. When Ving Rhames holds him and licks his head.
That is funny as hell. And when he was in there naked, told me, "You want some breakfast?"
Yeah.
After he got to smashing his mom.
Oh my God. Oh. God. You know who I sat next to on a plane the other day? I think I'm right. Angela Bassett.
Oh yeah. She's in a sorority. She's a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated.
She's still got it.
Yeah. Oh, and she is awesome. I'm a big
still
fan.
Got it, man. She is beautiful. She was so beautiful that I sat next to her and I was getting recognized. I didn't realize I was only getting recognized because they were looking at her.
Yeah.
And she's so famous. She knows what to do. She's like head in a book, glasses on, headsets in. I know you know who I am, but I'm in the middle of something, so please don't bother me. But what was happening is they were looking at her, seeing me, and they'd be like, "Oh, hey, what's up?" And then I'd be like, "Oh, I'm getting blown up here."
Right.
And then halfway through, I was like, "Who's this beautiful woman next to me?" And then I said hi to her, and then immediately I was like,
I had something weird happen to me last month. I said I wasn't going to talk about it, but I think I feel comfortable here.
Good.
Feel comfortable. I went to a midget funeral. And
did you know the guy?
Yeah, I know him.
Yeah.
They had got a regular size casket for him. And what happened was when they took the casket out of the hearse and took it up the steps to take it into the main sanctuary, and they opened the casket for view and he wasn't there. I was like, what's going on? Come to find out he slid to the bottom. And if they would have just got some Velcro and put it on the back of his jacket.
God dang.
Yeah.
That's so horrible.
I went to a midget funeral. This particular one, where he didn't have a full size, he only had one pallbearer.
He just like he was moving it. Like a chair. Like a pizza.
Yeah. And you didn't have to get up and go around and view the body. It was passing them around.
Oh.
Yeah, like a collection plate. And they didn't have a hearse. They had a PT Cruiser.
Oh, at least they saved money. What color was it? Purple?
Are you sure you want me on the stage with you, man?
Yes, I do.
They'll be out there protesting. I am so sorry. I apologize. I just had to get that out.
My daughter.
You turned it red.
My daughter, I'm constantly red. I just got an IV, so I'm really red.
I had an IV this morning.
I get IVs every twice a week.
With the drops, the vitamins?
Everything.
Oh, yeah. I got one this morning. I had the whole morning show. We all got them today.
Oh, real?
Yeah.
My daughter one time, we're in the car. She goes, hey, Dad, can I tell you a joke? I go, yeah, this is Ida, the one you just met. This is when she was young. She had to be she had to be like 8.
Yeah.
She goes, a midget walks into an elevator.
Oh, God.
I go, hey, baby, I'm just giving you a heads up. You're not allowed to say midget. She goes,
you can't
why?
say
She goes, why? I go, because it's like, if someone heard that, it would really hurt their feelings. And she goes, yeah, but they're not here. And I went, well, yeah, you'd think that's how that works. But what happens is you get comfortable saying it, and then you say it in front of them on accident, and then you get your ass kicked one day. And she was like, yeah, but I'm just telling you the joke. And I go, okay, just go ahead. She tells me the joke. The joke is ultimately the midget can't hit the button 11. It wasn't a great joke.
Right.
So 2 days later, I'm with Brad Williams, who's a little person comic, right?
Yeah.
And we're doing a podcast, and he's in there. And Isla walks back to see us, to see what's going on. She just got home from school, peeks her head into my man cave, big glass windows, sees him, looks at me like, oh, fuck. And I go, Isla, get in here. And she goes like, nah. I go, tell Brad your joke. She goes, oh, you asshole. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I did a show at the, what's the comedy club in New York?
Cellar?
No, it's
Caroline's?
No, not Caroline's, not the Cellar.
Stand Up New York?
Nah, it's the other one called the
Stand?
Metropolis, something.
Yeah.
They had a little people convention. And they didn't prep me, they didn't tell me or whatever. I'm expecting a black audience, and it was all little people.
Really?
Nobody's feet was hitting the floor. And it was awkward as hell. I think I did about 10 minutes and just say, give everybody their money back, because I didn't know what to do. Because they was looking there, and my manager said, yeah, you can't do no little people joke. He said it real sensitive.
Yeah. Don't
say nothing about it. He said, because we the only 2 black people in here. And he said, he said, one of the motherfuckers, he said, you won't be able to see them until they get up on you. Yeah.
You see him in the last minute.
So he said that before I went on stage, and here I am up on stage.
Oh.
Looking at them, and they were looking at me like, you better not say nothing. Like they wasn't, I don't know, it was just weird. I was like, I'm sorry, y'all. I don't know. I don't have any material. So that's one night I had to really just walk on stage.
You don't seem like someone that ever needs material when you go on stage.
I need material.
But do you think doing the morning show that have you gotten more comfortable on stage?
Exercise that muscle. Now I host a karaoke night on Monday nights in Birmingham at the Stardome.
Mm-hmm.
I used to do it every month. I do it every now and then now. That helps you a lot. And also being on the radio helped you a lot with your improv.
Yeah.
But I have to have material to back up on, because every audience is different. You know what I'm saying? You could get 13 people that's laughing at everything and get a sold out show where it's disruptive. Mm-hmm. So you don't know what you're going to get, but you have to be prepared for everything. So comedy is real. It can be real weird sometimes. You go in here, it's sold out. You see the line going down the street like, oh man, it's sold out. But just because it's sold out, that don't mean that it's going to be a great audience. Sometimes a great audience is 40 people that's drunk and laughing their ass off, and you sit down on the stool and hold the mic and have a great freaking time.
Yeah.
But sometimes, you get a sold out show, and you get the drug dealers, you get the strippers, and they busy and wanting to be seen and coming in the middle of a joke, dapping up, hugging, a card party over here. A sold out show could be a lot.
Black shows and white shows are very different.
Yeah. White people quiet if you're not funny. They get quiet. That's worse. I'd rather somebody yell out to give me something to go back. Yeah.
D-Ray she used to have a show called, I think, Mo Better Mondays or over the Improv. And I hit him up one time and I was like, yo, I need to do a spot. I'm getting ready for something. My first joke was about Queer Eye for the Blind Guy. What's the name of that show? Queer Eye for the Straight Guy.
Yeah.
And I was like, has anyone seen Queer Eye for the Straight Guy? And the whole room was silent. I was like, is it just me or does it look like a Duran Duran reunion band? And everyone's like, I watched them think this. Not only do we not watch that show, but we're not familiar with Duran Duran.
You got to be out of your mind.
And the LA Times was writing about this show, and I bombed. I ended up doing good just because I was a New York comic,
Yeah.
so I knew how to get out of it.
Right.
But I was running material, not realizing just how dark the room was, and I was like, God damn! And then someone
I would have been laughing because I love Union of the Snake and the Reflex.
Oh,
I'm a big Duran fan.
Are you really?
Hell yeah! You crazy?
God damn, Duran was good.
The snake is on the. But all I listen to Delilah every night. I love soft rock. Elton John, the Eagles, Jerry Rafferty, Steely Dan. I'm a big soft rock fan.
Dude, Steely Dan.
Oh, I love Steely.
I played Steely Dan for Meta World Peace.
Yeah.
And I played the one that is the remix that God, who did it? Wasn't Jadakiss. It was what's the Steely Dan remix that I wish I just watched it die.
Right.
Steely Dan took all the rights to it. They took all the publishing, they took everything from them.
Yeah.
They did a remix of a Steely Dan song. What is it?
My favorite song is Deacon Blues. Because they call Alabama the Crimson Tide. Call me Deacon Blues. Roll down Tide, too.
How much Alabama do you think you'll always be Alabama?
I went to Alabama State University, which is HBCU, but when it comes to X's and O's, I love freaking Alabama. I'm a big Alabama fan.
Alabama's a great state. My wife grew up in Florida, right on the border of Alabama and Georgia.
Yeah. It's Alabama versus Auburn. In the state, you got to choose.
Yeah.
Alabama or Auburn.
My wife's Roll Tide. Unless you say Roll Tide ran into her, she's Get 'em Dogs or whatever,
Yeah.
But if it's War Eagle out Roll Tide, it's Roll Tide.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Nick said, I got a picture with Coach Bear Bryant when I was 8 years old. So I was proud to meet Coach Bryant because I had an uncle that played for Bama. Anthony Smiley, rest in peace, he just passed away a couple of months ago. But my uncle played for Alabama, so we was at all the games. I got a picture with Coach Saban. Coach Saban and both of my sons, my son that passed away. So I have a picture with Coach.
You had a son that passed away?
Yes, sir.
How did he pass away?
He OD'd.
Ugh.
Yeah. So I wrote a book on that talk about losing a loved one. I wrote a book about grief.
Was this your son,
Brandon?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Did you know? I'm only asking as one parent to another parent.
Yeah.
Did you see it? Did you see stuff ahead of time?
College. I think it was when he got in college.
Really?
Yeah. That's when I started to notice something was different.
What did you notice that was different? Did you?
Just the behavior and, you would find stuff. Because I'm one of those parents, I'm finna go around here, snoop around in your car. And, you start finding little stuff and beer cans and stuff like that.
My daughter's friend dropped off a bag one time. I mean, this turned into a big fight in our family.
Yeah.
Her friend dropped off a bag and said, hey, will you drive that to school for me? And my daughter said, yeah. And I said, what's in the bag? She goes, doesn't matter. It's her bag. And I said, no. Why isn't she flying with it? She goes, I don't know. She asked me to drive it. And I went, no. Let's get into the fucking bag. Like, that's kind of dad. When you say Snoop,
yeah,
I'm a Snoopy fucking dad.
Yeah.
I've really gotten into this. And it's, I think as any parent listening, it's one of your biggest fears is to lose a child.
Sure.
I know your daughter was shot. I know you were shot.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew about Brandon. I knew about your book, but I don't think I'd realized it was an overdose.
Yeah. And you know how hard it is? Like, you lose a son, that's like the worst thing anybody could ever go through. And your job is to make people laugh. And I remember my first show after my son's funeral, I was performing in Cleveland at the casino, the Hard Rock, I think. And I cried from the hotel and I cried backstage and I blew my nose and got myself together when I was being introduced and went on stage and freaking killed them. And I don't know where the energy came from. I don't know how I did. I think God just always hold you up in a time of need. But the people was there for me. It was sold out. And I put on a hell of a show that night because my son was a comedy. Did you know that?
I did not.
Brandon is on my comedy special. When the credits rolling,
yeah,
you got Brandon right there performing right after me. It's me introducing him. and he came on stage and did like a guest spot or whatever, and that's how the show ends or whatever. But I always feel like we on stage together.
Yeah.
So shout out to any parent out there that lost a kid, or anybody that suffered a loss that's going through the grief process. Just stay close to God and get therapy.
Yeah, you talked about therapy a bunch.
Yeah.
In the past year, like, it's the only way I'm getting through this is therapy.
Yeah, because there's no classes for death. Life, you go to school for everything except death. You go to school, you financial training and how to drive and how to cook and this, that, whatever. Nothing that trained you to prepare you for losing a loved one. It's like you just all of a sudden walk into a brick wall.
Do you feel like, I mean, I don't even like saying this out loud because I feel like I'm going to jinx it. Like, I've never lost anyone. Mm-hmm. I've been very, very lucky in life that everyone in my family, grandmothers have passed and grandfathers I never met. But like, I've been very lucky in my close family that I've never had loss. Mm-hmm. You lost your father when you were what, 5?
6.
6?
Mm-hmm.
Does it make it easier?
Well, losing a father,
like when you grow up with loss, when you're like at school and people are talking about their dads and your dad is not there.
It wasn't losing my dad. It was the way my grandparents suffered. I remember I can think about my son's funeral versus my dad's funeral. My dad's funeral make me cry harder. I think for now I'm okay with my son's service, but watching my grandparents cry like that upset me to this day.
Really?
It tears me up. April the 11th, 1970, I think 73, 74, tear me up to this day. I talked to my therapist about it. Like, I watched my grandfather stand there and shake people's hand, thank people for coming. I watched him and my grandmother burying their son, sit there and cry. And I just paid a lot of attention to my grandparents. I was zoomed in on my grandparents at my dad's funeral. And I never would have thought in a million years that I would become him. You feel me?
Yeah, I do.
Like, I'm sitting I was at my son's funeral and I was like,
Rickey, that's fucking,
yeah.
That's meta.
Yeah. I'm on the front row at my son's funeral and I just kept thinking about my grandparents. I said, I have become him. And I'm feeling, and I always wondered all of those years, how did my grandparents feel? They used to cry a lot about losing their son. And I felt bad for them for years. Even when my grandfather was 93, about to turn 93 when he passed away. And his funeral was in the same, his casket was in the same place my dad's casket was, with a flag draped over it. It was the same thing. And the only thing I could think of, here's a man in this casket that lost his son. Like, I just always go back to that because I felt so bad for my grandparents. I just never would have thought in a million years that I would be sitting on the front row burying my son also. But the good news is God is good, and the good news is my grandfather lived to be 92, 93 years old, and I always feel like God will give you double for your trouble. But everything that you go through is a test. So God look at all of us, you, myself, Bruce, everybody that we love, and when we go through turbulent situations like that, how are you going to handle it? Are you going to make it about you, or are you going to try to figure out how to get through this test that all of our pastors have been trying to get us ready for years, talking about the test, but we don't never think about that when somebody die, but that's still a test. So I just thank God for my health and my strength, and I'm still able to perform and do what I do, get the therapy, get the help. Just imagine people that lost a son that don't have any resources, that can't go to Florida and buy a plane ticket. They have to sit there with the walls closing in and feel all of it. I was able to at least escape and go check in a hotel room and go sit on the beach for the weekend and relax and listen to, the Eagles. You know what I'm saying? So I thank God. I know that's all over the place.
No, it's actually all in one place for me.
Okay.
All I'm thinking is like, because I do therapy, but I don't do church. And I used to do church.
Right.
And I used to find church.
You need to go to a black church because you need to go hear some old school. I know the Lord.
Hey, I'm in Atlanta. I told you I'm in Atlanta for a while. You set me up, I'll go.
Okay, I'll go with you.
I would love that.
That's what the pastor said. I will go with you.
Yeah, I would love that. I would love that. You know, we not to go back to Jameis Winston, but it's very seldom that you meet a man that really goes through the shit and then lands in a place.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't talk shit about people.
Right.
It's really fascinating. Like I would make a joke about someone. I won't say who, but someone that we hung out with that day.
Yeah.
I made a light joke. He's like, man, everyone has rough patches in life.
Yeah.
And you just like, how good of a person are you?
Right.
Like, am I broken because I'm a comic? Am I making fucking shitty jokes?
Jameis Winston, when Jesus goes on vacation, Jameis Winston fills in.
Jameis Winston.
He sit up and answer prayers all night.
He's the sweetest guy. I
love him.
I gotta give him one shout out. So it was me and my assistant. Me and my assistant. You met Peter, the guy that's leaving today.
Uh-huh.
Me and my assistant went to the game. We all went to the Super Bowl together.
Yeah.
And we went with Fox or something. And Jameis and I watched the game together. And then we all were leaving. And we were meeting up with Jameis's wife, Jameis's father-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jameis might have had an assistant. We were eating up with more people than Jameis had room in his car for.
Right.
And our car didn't show up. And Jameis was like, well, no question, get in our car, we'll take you to your hotel.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, you don't have to do that. And he goes, no, everyone get in.
Yeah.
So security's sitting up front, his wife's sitting next to him, his wife's friend's sitting in the other seat, his father-in-law's in the way back, me and Pete in the back, and Jameis Winston sat on the floor.
Yeah.
He gave us seats. And I was like,
I can see that. That's Alabama.
God.
Coming from the great state of Alabama, that we built that way.
Me and Pete looked at him the whole time and we're like, that's like, that doesn't exist it doesn't exist in celebrity. It doesn't exist it exists in a very few select group of men,
Yeah.
But man, what a sweet, sweet guy he is.
He is. I absolutely love him and respect him. That damn Florida State, that national championship against Auburn, you should have stayed there.
Dude,
you missed a treat.
Don't even get me started. Well, I want to call. I know I've got you over an hour, and I know you're an old school radio guy, so I don't want to like milk your time.
We good.
But I'm trying to talk about Kings of Comedy, Said, Bernie, DL.
I opened for the Kings of Comedy a couple of times.
I know you. I heard you talk about that, but I know Steve's been really pivotal in your career of like as a friend and a mentor and like just a solid dude.
So I wasn't dressed correctly one night. I was on a show with him at the Comedy Club. I'm sure you're a comedy, you'll appreciate this. He said, tomorrow, he said, hey, I was just like LL Cool J. I had the thing with, the same kind.
Well,
how
old are you at the time?
21, whatever.
Yeah.
But I have discipline and structure. I was raised by my grandparents. So I'm like, oh, damn. He was like, hey, you need to dress better tomorrow. People pay money to see us perform. Okay, I know that's a brand new Nike jogging suit. It's nice because I always kept a Nike jogging suit. I love Nike. I collect Nike, whatever. He's like, but tomorrow I want you to dress nice, but I'm going to let you introduce me tonight. But tomorrow, let's get it together. Bruce Ayers was standing in the door, Comedy Club owner. So I said, hey, ladies and gentlemen, y'all give it up from Cleveland, Ohio, Steve Harvey. Music comes on. He comes on stage. I shake his hand. I ran out of that Comedy Club, jumped in my car, peeled out of the driveway, went all the way across town to my apartment, grabbed a suit I had bought from Jeans West. You remember Jeans West?
I don't.
Okay, Jeans West was one of those popular stores in the mall where you buy the jacket, get the pants free. Yeah. Whatever. You remember Jeans West?
No, she dated a black guy in high school.
Jeans West in Oak Tree. I put that damn suit on. I was getting dressed in the car, put the pants on in the apartment. I was tying a tie hat, driving with my knees or whatever. Made it there just in time to say, hey, y'all keep it going. All I had to do was say, hey, give it up for Steve Harvey. Y'all make sure y'all come out tomorrow. And when he saw that I was dressed up, I was like, yeah, I'm serious about what I do. He said, follow me. Went back to the hotel room. I sat on the edge of the bed and I grabbed a little pen and a notepad, and he stood there in front of the TV and lectured me for about 2 hours about how to be successful. And I was sleepy as hell and was taking note, but I listened to everything that he had to say and kept my mouth shut. And that led to my radio job. I got the radio job because of Steve. I got the radio station in Dallas, Texas, which is a big market. Yeah, I started. Rickey Smiley.
You started in Dallas?
Yeah, Rickey Smiley Morning Show started in Dallas, but I was on the Buck Wild Morning Show in Birmingham.
Okay.
Not Buck Wild from New York, but Sammy Mack. But it was called the Buck Wild Morning Show. That was his name that he would use on the air. WBHJ, Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, 95.7 Jams. I was on that station. Then I went to work for Doug Banks on the Doug Banks Morning Show.
Okay.
Doug and Dee Dee, Biz Marquis, Coco Brother, and myself. That was the morning show. It was syndicated. And then I end up in Dallas, Texas to start the Rickey Smiley Morning Show because Steve said, hey, Rickey Smiley would be good at this job. He's disciplined. He's going to get up and come to work every morning. And I ended up getting that job, and we syndicated. It was only on the radio in Dallas. And we had Dallas, Oklahoma City, then Augusta, Georgia. And then it just blew up once we went on 99 Jams in Miami. Now we on in like almost 100 markets. So so here I am.
How does that happen? I mean, that's the radio dream. And I got to be honest with you. And I love all my radio friends.
Yeah.
You know how we are with radio friends.
We're a whole fraternity.
You're talking about men and women I have known for 25 years that I've spent drunk mornings with, that I've been dealing with difficulties with my family, and I roll in and I share with them off air. We talk about it on air. They're like family to you.
Yeah.
But when it does not happen, no one gets syndicated in white markets. Bob and Tom, Todd and Tyler, Rover.
Right.
I mean, mostly it's like when you look at like the big ones like in Philly, DC, Florida, Phoenix, LA, the syndication doesn't happen.
Guess who got me interested in radio for real? And I listened to every morning in Birmingham, Alabama.
Who?
Mark and Brian.
No.
Mark and Brian's from Birmingham.
Are you serious?
They did radio in Birmingham. We listened to them every morning.
Really?
Because I would listen to Kicks 106 or either I think they were on Kicks 106, and they was funny. We had a black station.
Yeah.
But Mark and Brian was doing prank phone
That's
calls.
that was your I mean, not your strength. You've had so many strengths, but like your prank phone calls are fucking legendary.
Oh, thank you.
Your voices are legendary. You're fucking, you are a legend, but like your act outs are legendary. You have such an ability to take, I mean, I wish I really honestly, I'd go out on the road with you just to watch you and learn, because you can take a moment and make it so fucking real.
I'm coming to one of your shows,
Dude,
I want to come in your world. I want to come to one of your shows. I just want to do five. I just want to see what it's like.
Is wild, but like, but that's so crazy that because funny's funny.
Yeah,
funny's funny. I mean, look, I've listened to the Breakfast Club. Yeah, I listened to Steve. I've listened to you. I've listened to a lot of wild shit that isn't in my in what you would think I would listen to. I listen to Elliot. I listen to Rover. I listen to WMMR. I listen to Cowhead. I listen to everything. I listen I love listening to radio.
I like when a guy called in Delilah's show. Yeah, I was in love with Heather. Been in love with Heather since the 3rd grade. I ran into her at the mall. She has 8 kids, but I still love her. Can you play a song? And then she plays Air Supply. No, I'm a big Delilah fan. I have to listen to Delilah at night.
Is there a moment where you realize I got to pull back from comedy a little bit to focus on radio?
It was a moment where
what are we? I'm not even joking. 17 years between specials?
Like 12.
12?
Mm-hmm.
But
I was still performing.
Performing, but like you're not out there going like when you get, I mean, you know this, only comics know this, but when you go, it's time to do a new special, you're like, all right, well, I got to get rid of anything that I'm not loving. I got to really focus on what I'm proud of.
Yeah.
The
special was easy. I had the material was tested.
Mm-hmm.
But here's what I did do. I was in Atlanta airport one day. It was July. I do radio Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, perform Saturday, Sunday, like ripping and running.
Jesus, what a dream.
I saw people outside, like, it was sunny. It was July. I'm sitting in Atlanta Hartsfield Airport, freezing, getting ready to go to Tulsa, Oklahoma or somewhere to perform. And the show is sold out. All that's great or whatever. But I'm looking at, like, on Facebook, people are at family reunions. People are at the beach. Everybody's out enjoying life. Yeah, I'm making money, but I'm not enjoying life. I canceled everything that I could cancel right there. I had called my manager at the time. I said, hey, canceled everything. I'm going to the beach.
Yeah.
I went and sold off all those houses that I had. I bought a boat and I became a boat captain. And my ass did not perform in the summer for 6 years in a row, and laid out on the boat and listened to Stills and Nash and enjoyed some soft rock and came up with some of the funniest stuff that I never would have thought about had I not just sat still and see, when LeBron get ready to take a shot, he take a step back to create space. And that's what we have to do sometimes. I know your agent wants you to go, your manager say, hey, this gig is going to pay a lot of money, but the question becomes, are you happy? You know what I'm saying?
When I hear you say that,
yeah,
I go, man, that's the move.
Bro.
But I'll tell you right now, it just took 11 months off.
Yeah.
And I'm miserable.
Are you?
I want to be on stage so bad. I want to just be, because my brain I got a bad brain.
Right.
And then my brain is just like, you're failing. You're not making money. I'm not making money, but I'm letting down fans. I'm not writing. I'm not getting on stage every night. I'm not, like, I just was like, take time off, step back, create space, live a little bit.
Right.
Both my girls were in college. I think maybe if I had a boat, I'd be happier.
Just make sure you take time.
You bring chicks out on the boat? That would be cool.
I mean, I have.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. We go from Fort Lauderdale, we go all the way over to Bimini, Bahamas. And you should go. You should go. We would have a great time. Bruce been on a boat with me before. I took him out on my boat. Oh, we had a good time. I know you love Bruce. I love Bruce as well. But yeah, you would have a good time. But yeah, just take a little space for yourself. And just sit back and write. You wouldn't believe what your brain would do when you just take just a little bit of space.
So you take that time off, and then you're at a certain point, you're like, I gotta do another special.
Yeah, well, that came on the boat. I took out David E. Talbert and Lynn Talbert. They're producers, here in LA. And they said, hey, it's time for you to shoot a special. You haven't shot a special in years, and you haven't been presented the right way. That's what he's like, I want to put some cinema on your shit. That's what he said.
Well, I think I'm gonna speak freely. But I think a lot of you guys, that generation I talked about, I think a lot of you guys got misrepresented. I think you didn't get the opportunities I think a lot of white comics got.
Right.
Where I think they gave for a very long time, and I know you know this, but they gave 15, 20 white comics a special every year. Where you get like 3 gay, 3 black, 3 white, 3 women, and then they'd split it up, and it wasn't fair. And so I think that's a very fair estimation. And I only know that because going to the clubs, you go the next week after any black dude was there, and the club would be like, that was fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Wow, it was packed. Always sold out. You guys are always so much better with promotion.
I had a guy that was a complete ass to me when I was an opening act.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say his name, but he was a complete jerk. He was mean.
Wait, just tell me where.
It was in Birmingham.
Okay.
It was at the comedy club. I was funny. He got me kicked off the show. So Bruce said, don't worry. Yeah.
White guy, black guy?
A white dude.
Oh, come on.
He used to come out with he had this whole gimmick where he was like a wrestler.
Sounds like me.
Oh, Klein. I know his last name is Klein. Mark Klein, that's his name.
Okay.
Oh, he was a complete ass. Got me kicked off the show and was mean, and then tried to intimidate me, like in the dressing room. Like, you don't talk about certain stuff on stage, and I'm the headliner. And Bruce said, hey, I'll just figure it out. He said, I'll pay you. I'll give you another week. Don't worry about it. Guy got in my face. Bruce Ayers had to get in his ass. So my career takes off, right? I become the host of Comic View. Mm-hmm. So I go to this comedy club at the time was still open. It was in Little Rock, Arkansas. I saw that he was coming the next week, right?
Yeah.
So I got like 90% of the door. I did about maybe 8 shows, seat 350 people, and I was hot, like real hot at the time. So I told him to make a copy of my pay stub because back then headliners was only getting like $1,200. The feature act get $400 or $500. The opening act get like $150. Right? You remember those days, right?
Yeah, very vividly.
I had a bag. I left with a bag. So I wrote him a note. I said, hey, what's up? Remember me, Rickey Smiley? You got me. I wrote a little stuff. I said, well, I'm famous now. And here's what I make. I said, leave a copy of your pay stuff. I'd be happy to come and pick it up. And I left it there for him and they gave it to him.
You guys, and I say this, you got to understand, and I'm just being real.
Yeah.
Black comics were ahead of the game way before white comics because we were always like company men. Mm-hmm. $1,300. When you say $1,300,
yeah,
man, that was me until I was like 42 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just like, sure, man, I'm happy to be here. I'll go in and do radio, whatever you want. I remember rolling in, they were like,
the day early because you have to go do the little radio interviews.
But it was you know what it was? Is like you guys had different connections with radio than we did.
Right.
Like our connections were through the club, and it was like white guys, and they were like cocky, and they wanted to be comics, and they were like, they're going to be the star. They're going to give me your 5 things I can talk about. You guys always had your own media connections that you all knew through like social media or I remember just going like, I remember hearing a dude, I want to say it's Deion Cole. I don't know if it is. Mm-hmm. But I go into Dayton and they're like.
You know, I gave Deion Cole his first writing job.
Really?
That's like my little brother. Yeah. I'm so proud of him. I remember going on the college tour. We were all in the van and I was like, who's the little quiet kid in the back? I said, oh, his name is Deion Cole. And he was in the back chilling, writing, to himself. He was always nice or whatever. But I saw he was on the show.
I've had Deion and
D. Ray Davis.
I met 3 guys at Riddles in Chicago.
Yeah.
I did Riddles, I headlined Riddles, and they're like, these are your 3 opening acts. It's Deion Cole, D. Ray Davis, and Hannibal Buress.
Yeah.
And I was like, cool. Hannibal, I mean, I love you, Hannibal. You know I love you. He bombed. D. Ray was young.
D. Ray came to Birmingham. I think he was underage. And I remember taking a drink out of him and said, you can't have that. You're not old enough to drink. And I'll pour it out.
but those guys are guys I knew. They always took control of their career quicker than the white guys.
Yep.
Like they would go in and they'd be like, yo, they took care of their promoting. Yeah. Our advertising.
Deion is on one of my prank phone call CDs.
Really?
Oh, yeah. He would come down to Birmingham and I would cook dinner for everybody, have a big ass dinner, and then we would go in the studio and do prank phone calls. Deion is on some of those prank phone calls.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy what when we talk about fraternity.
Yeah.
What a weird fraternity we're in, where we all kind of and sorority also the sisters. It's like I remember sitting with Simone at Montreal. And it was right after Trayvon Martin was killed.
Yeah.
And I sat down with Simone and her husband, I think, was her manager.
Simone or Samore?
Samore.
Yeah.
Samore.
Her husband, Wayne.
Was her manager.
Good people.
Really good people. She lives in South Florida.
Yes. She lives we go to the same church in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
We are members of New Mount Olive Missionary Baptist Church, Dr. Marcus Davison. So, yeah, I saw her at church a couple of times. We go to the same service.
I had a rough set. I had bombed. Mm-hmm. I was at the bar. And she just came up and she goes, you look like you did bad tonight. And I go, I did. She goes, and we just started just talking.
Yeah.
Kind of knew each other just from seeing our faces up at clubs.
Sure. Sure.
Her husband came over, started talking about guns.
Big Wayne.
And we had the best night.
Yeah.
But it's a weird family to be a part of. Mm-hmm. It's so crazy.
Yeah, man. Comics I always recommend. George Wilborn out of Chicago. Bill Bellamy, that's somebody you should have on your show. If you want to get some great stories, Bill Bellamy, Bruce are two of the best storytellers. Bill Bellamy gonna give you the facial expressions.
Yeah.
He gonna have you in here laid out on the floor, cracking up or whatever. Oh God, T.K. Kirkland,
buddy.
Do you know T.K. Kirkland?
I want everyone to take a pause right now.
That's my big brother.
T.K. Kirkland. I wouldn't be shocked if I had his number in my phone. I was at Columbus. I was at the Columbus Funny Bone.
Yeah.
I think I was doing
Columbus, Ohio?
Yeah, Columbus Funny Bone. I was doing, so when they opened the new club,
yeah,
I was doing Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
And they're like, yo, can you come in for Thursday radio? And I was like, yeah. Look at the calendar. TK Kirkland's got 2 shows on a Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, yo, I'm going to fly in early, go see TK Kirkland.
Yeah.
Now, I've seen TK. TK is, I can't explain it. I can't explain it.
How about TK have women chasing him out of the comedy? I saw him run to his car because women, by the time he get off stage, when he get through breaking down what he does in bed, women are in heat. And they chasing him to the car.
He is, when you hear Joe Rogan talk about alpha males,
yeah,
TK is an alpha
definitely
male. He is big dog sitting on top of the mountain, paws crossed. Yeah. He is the man.
And he's 61 years old, I think. And
he is not 61.
Yeah. He would tell
dyeing your beard. Holy shit, he's got a beard. TK, I'm sorry I said that. Don't fuck me up. But so
you never had him on?
No, I never had him on.
Oh, you got to have him on.
I came out. It was right when I was starting to pop, when I was starting to sell tickets. And I think he knew kind of I was selling tickets, you know? Yeah. She's like, oh, your shows are sold out. I was like, yeah. He's like, why are you doing radio? I was like, I still do radio. I still come in and do radio because you never know if they're going to sell it next time.
Right.
You know, and he was like, it's like, nice. He was like, nice. And he's like, what did you come out for? And I said, I came to see you. And he was like, really?
Yeah.
I said, yeah, man, I've seen you a couple times and you do it different than everyone. I just want to watch.
Yeah.
So I sat and watched this whole show, both shows. And then we had a drink afterwards and kind of hung out. You know, I'm being real. TK's a little bit, keeps you at arm's length.
Yeah.
But fascinating. I mean, fascinating dude.
Oh man, he's smooth on stage.
Can I wait? I got to get out of I could just sit and comedy gossip with you for hours.
Oh yeah.
Can you tell me, and I know this is not supposed to be funny.
Yeah.
But it did make me giggle.
What?
But when you got shot.
Yeah. Yeah, I got shot. You know what's crazy? They wasn't even robbing me. They was robbing someone else.
Yeah.
They shot me to let the other person know that they were serious about the robbery.
What?
They didn't ask me for anything.
Yeah. They just were like, I swear to God, I'm not fucking around. And they shot you.
Shot me. They say, hey,
with
give it up.
Off shotgun.
He said, I don't have that. He's like, boom. He said, now give it up. I was like, damn. Yeah. Shot me in the side.
That is, if that's
buck shots.
If that's not a comics experience in life.
It's like somebody popped, and it felt like somebody popping you with a hot dish rag. With a hot towel. That's what a gunshot felt like. Yeah, that was crazy. I got
And how you were what, 22?
Yeah, but 21, 22. Yeah. Right? I think I did Def Comedy Jam. So I got shot the night they found Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman. I got shot that night. I ended up in surgery and ended up in the ICU. And I'm in the ICU looking at the TV watching the police chase a white Bronco. That's the truth. That's crazy, right? Yeah.
Wait, what's it? What?
And then I went to court. The guy was attempted murder. The guy was looking down at some papers or whatever, and we ended up on the same elevator headed to trial. And he saw me. We made eye contact, and he turned around and faced the door, and I stayed in the back of the elevator. And if he'd have made one wrong move, we would have been thumping in the elevator.
Really?
And went in court, and he did 25 years in prison. Came up for parole. I had to go to a parole hearing. I was like, hey, let bygones be bygones. My life is good. My career is taking off.
After 25 years, he comes up for parole?
25 years, yeah. He came up for parole. It wasn't 25 years, 23 years. Mm-hmm. Came up for parole. I was, hey, if you feel like you want to let him out, that's fine with me. We're good. The parole board was like, he's in solitary confinement right now. We don't parole people that's on solitary confinement. So the parole was denied. So he ended up getting out maybe a year and a half later and got killed drag racing a couple of months after he got out of prison. Oh, that was crazy. And he had bodies, because that's what they were doing in that community. It was robbing and killing people.
Where were you when you got
in Birmingham?
Shot? Birmingham?
Mm-hmm. Not far from the airport.
Was Birmingham dangerous growing up?
It wasn't really. It was certain areas, like all cities, just dangerous. All cities have those hot spots.
Are you good at picking those out?
Now I am.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Really?
You know how I pick them out? I don't go.
Yeah.
Stay in the house.
I'm fine. I mean, I've talked about this too much, and I need to stop talking about it. I'm obsessed with the concept of checking in. Like when you see, is it checking in, or do you ever see the video of Lil Baby doing a video in Atlanta?
Yeah,
and
you
those guys
you
need a permission slip.
Yeah. Oh, that's crazy. They did that to a comic. I think they tried to do that. Mo Brooks, with the comic that make the funny ass videos. Yeah, checking in. I don't know how that works. Check in. Why?
It seems like such a young guy thing.
That's crazy. I did see that video with Baby when he came out on the porch.
And he goes,
and they was back and forth.
I don't know anything about. And he's just smoking a blunt. And all I'm thinking is as a regular guy, I was like, my heart would be racing, just going smoking a blunt, being like, I'm smoking.
Oh, he stood on his manhood that day.
God, he stood, and they did nothing.
Nothing.
They did nothing.
Talking, jealous. The jealousy is unreal. Yeah, checking in. I hear about that. It's more rappers than anything.
Really?
But comics, they haven't started asking us to check in yet.
Thank God.
Thank God for that.
Thank God.
That's crazy.
The last thing I want to talk about, and then man, you're such a rich person with experience, I'm just a fan, and I've listened to so much. I'm curious how that your daughter got shot in a road rage incident.
Yeah,
but how did that? I knew that it happened, and all I think of is as the dad. That's all I think about. I got two daughters. My oldest is got another year in college. My youngest just started college. You met my youngest.
Yes,
and I just think about being away from them, not being able to get to them quick, something happening. And your story of how you had to get from Atlanta to Dallas.
I had to go from Birmingham to DFW Airport, get in a car and go from DFW Airport to go to Dallas Love Field Airport to jump on Southwest Airlines to fly to Houston, only to get to the hospital and can't go in because it's COVID.
How old's your daughter at the time? She's just graduated?
Yeah, I graduated high school, headed to college. Yeah, my daughter, she graduated Baylor. And sitting outside on a picnic bench outside of the hospital, watching the ambulance come in every 10 or 15 minutes because somebody else was shot. It was mostly gunshot victims. It was a trauma unit, whatever that trauma unit. So I called, rest in peace, Sheila Jackson Lee, who was the congresswoman. She just recently passed away, to see what could she do to get us in. And she made some phone calls. And we put on masks and we were escorted and were allowed to come in. But I was on the air when I found out that my daughter got shot. Her mom texted me and said, I just want you to know that Aaron got shot last night. And I'm on the radio like, what? And so after all of that, I go back to Dallas, get on the radio. I was fine that Monday. That Tuesday came, and I was getting ready to play In the Club by 50 Cent. I'll never forget it. And I lost it. I couldn't stop crying. My daughter was okay. My daughter was at home in the bed. People had sent flowers. People had sent food, right? That was on a Saturday. Mm-hmm. Had she not lived, it would have been the flowers and the food on it. It felt like a repast, except for my daughter was there. Yeah. And there was a lot of flowers there. And it just felt a certain kind of way, and it scared me to death. And I just remember crying so hard like that day. I cried all day that day because it was just, I guess it was just built up. I was just in protection mode or whatever. My son's death didn't really hit me until like the spring after his death. So now when I see the dogwood trees blooming and spring is coming, but it's cold, but spring is coming, but it's still cold. Like that triggers me. New Year's Eve triggers me because you think that your son's going to die again, or you leaving him in that year and you're going on to another year. Like, it's crazy.
Fuck.
And then
so you're telling me that just like with good memories, where you feel the it change into fall, and it gets dark a little earlier, and the street lights come on earlier, but you're still on your bike and it gets a little cold, and you go, oh man, Monday Night Football's on tonight, and you're a kid and you're happy. But that can happen with bad memories also.
Sure.
Fuck.
I get triggered. Yeah, I know, right? I get triggered really bad. Not necessarily the anniversary of his death. It's something about this spring. I think it's a mix between when I actually felt his death. And the spring is also when my grandma died. So spring is just never good for me. It just feels really, really weird and triggering. But New Year's Eve, that countdown, going into a new year, knowing that you're leaving your son further and further behind and you're moving on, that's pretty hard. I lost my son, and my son have a daughter. They were taken away. It's like they went away at the same time. I had to go to court to acquire for grandparent visitation rights.
Really?
Yeah.
Even you have to go to court? Like you're like a pillar of the society.
Yeah, I had to go to court to get to try to seek visitation. And I won. I have visitation now, but I didn't see my granddaughter for 2 years.
How old's your granddaughter?
She's great. She's 5 years old, and she's wonderful, and she looked exactly like my son.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, you found out you had twins recently.
I did.
Now, hang on. So, like, you didn't know you had a kid, right? Now, if someone comes to me and says, just giving you a heads up, you've got a son you didn't know about. He's 6. I'd be like, fuck. But if someone told me, just give me a heads up, you have twins you didn't know, I'd be like, nice.
I have always wanted identical twin
How
daughters.
great are twins?
Oh, man, they are awesome. Best thing ever. It saved my life.
Really?
They saved my life.
Because you got all this shit's going on. You've had all this success. Man, you have had.
I found out about the twins 1 year, almost like really, really close to the 1 year anniversary of my son's death. I found out that I had twins. And when I tell you, man, I really feel like they saved my life. I felt like I was dying. Everything was black and white. That's the first time I saw, I remember that phone conversation. And that's the first time I looked outside. I was in Fort Lauderdale. I was in Hollywood. Mm-hmm. The sky went back to its original color. The sun went back to its original. Everything started. It's like watching a movie and it's black and white, and the colors start, like at the end of the movie, the colors start coming back in.
Like that when they tell Pony Boy Curtis, stay golden, and you see it and you're like, oh.
Right. God. And I started making phone calls. I didn't tell nobody in the family. Not at first. I wanted to, and I got with them, spent time with them, and I surprised my family because, so for my son's birthday, which is February the 7th, Brandon, my son that passed away, so we were going to do a makeshift memorial dinner for Brandon. Had the whole family come out, but it's R&B music. We're going to play cards, dance, have a good time. That's what my son would have wanted. They had no idea what I had in store for them. Nobody in my family knew. Not even my mother. They didn't know. So I go up on the stage. I say, hey, happy that y'all all came out to Brandon's memorial dinner. But I always talk about, God will give you everybody said, because I say it on the radio all the time, God will give you double for your trouble. I want to announce to the family today that I found out that I have a 5-year-old daughter named Allison. And somebody brought her out on stage and the whole family was in shock. I only brought out one.
Yeah.
They were.
I love it. You're a comic.
They was in shock.
You're a fucking artist.
Come on, man. They was in shock. I brought her on stage and everybody was going crazy. I just remember my oldest daughter, Dee, she jumped on the stage. She had tears in her eyes. Like, oh my God, I got a sister. And she grabbed her and she picked her up. It was really emotional. And I said, God, well, what? They say, give you what? They say, double for your trouble.
Oh.
So the DJ started playing Lovely Day by Bill Withers. Lovely Day. I said, she also has a twin sister named Alyssa. When they brought the other twin on stage, it wiped them completely out. It wiped them out. I'm talking about it wasn't a dry eye in there. And I was just so grateful and so proud to present them to the family. And now they're in tennis, basketball, gymnastics. How do you pronounce it? Jiu-jitsu?
Jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu. Yeah.
So they're in 4 sports right now. They're 6 years old.
Wow.
And tennis twice a week, basketball twice a week. I just say karate twice a week. Because I'll be in spit everywhere trying to say jiu-jitsu.
Be very careful with that. My daughter Isla's in jiu-jitsu. Or was in jiu-jitsu. One night I'm talking shit to her, and my other daughter, I'm a little drunk, we're in Hawaii. And my daughter Isla goes, be careful, big guy, I'll choke you out. And I was like, sure. And man, I did not catch her go to the bathroom, and I did not see her coming back. And she fucking choked me out. Man, they turn into assassins.
Oh, yeah.
Assassins.
Yeah, I am so serious about discipline and structure because my grandparents were military.
Yeah.
So
military, like I know I'm supposed to wrap this up, but military in Alabama, any relationship with Tuskegee?
No.
Okay.
No, my granddad was not a Tuskegee airman.
By the way, I'm like,
it would have been nice.
No, but there's right by there, right?
Tuskegee is like. You go there, you have to drive 70 miles to Montgomery and then probably another 30 miles to get to Tuskegee.
I just found out, I'm not to fucking disrail this with my stupidity.
Nah, you're good.
I didn't know that, like, I knew about the Tuskegee experiment and I also knew about the Tuskegee Airmen, but I had mashed it up into one and I thought they gave the Tuskegee Airmen syphilis.
Man, come on, man. You got to read your history.
I swear to God, for the longest time, I thought
You do know that Tuskegee was founded by Booker T. Washington.
The guy who made peanut butter?
No, that's George Washington Carver.
Okay.
Come on, man.
No.
And you know their graves are walking distance from each other. Booker T. Washington grave. So if you ever get an opportunity, please visit Tuskegee.
Booker T. Washington and George Washington Carver, their graves are walking distance?
Yeah. Yeah, they're in it's a little cemetery on campus. Right behind the chapel building.
Really?
And you have Booker T. Washington grave and you have George Washington Carver grave. George Washington Carver has a museum on the campus of Tuskegee University.
It's one of the first jokes I wrote was about George Washington Carver because he could run a combustible engine off a peanut. He had all these uses for a peanut. Yeah. My joke was his big mistake was he introduced the peanut butter and jelly sandwich first. And he was like, guys, try a bite. And they're like, And he's like, all right, well, that's just where we start. And they're like, this is pretty good. It's so hard to beat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Yeah, the history is so rich at Tuskegee. So if you ever going down to Auburn, you have to pass by Tuskegee to get to Auburn or whatever, you make sure you stop by, man, and visit Tuskegee University. The history is really rich.
Man, I'm so bad with history. And I'm so bad with and I think most people are where they just, what's it called? The Mandela effect. Mm-hmm. You know the Mandela effect?
No.
Mandela effect is that people think Nelson Mandela died in jail, but he didn't. Obviously he didn't.
No.
I know now, but most people think, so that's the Mandela effect is where you think something because you feel like you were taught it, but that's not true.
Right.
And so my Mandela effect was like, I sincerely, just forgot. I'm a big fan of Martin Luther King Jr. But
Dr. King was a student at Morehouse.
I do, yeah.
And he's a member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated.
I know that as well.
And before every speech, he always popped a lifesaver.
No, I did not know that.
And sometimes I got a picture of Dr. King. He smoked cool cigarettes.
Did you know that I Have a Dream was his closer?
Really?
Yeah. You want to know, as a comic, just comic to comic, right?
Wait a minute, closing?
It was his closer. It was like he did like an hour speech.
Right.
And then he was like, shit, it's killing. I don't have a closer. Like I need to close strong.
Right.
There was please Google it, I Have a Dream speech. There was a gospel singer named Althea something.
Mahalia Jackson?
I want to say it's Althea only because that's one of my favorite Care for Dead songs.
Okay.
You're gonna have to you're gonna have to do better than this. And she was a gospel singer, and she has sung that afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
She's sitting on the back. She's watching Martin Luther King struggle, trying to close out strong. Right? She goes, "Tell him about your dream, Martin." A woman. This is what I love.
Oh.
A woman.
Right.
And just like every fucking great woman behind a great man, a woman was like, "Tell him about your dream." And he's like, Martin Luther King was like, I have a dream. And then he's like, that's not bad. That's not bad. That one day, and that was his 3 times.
Was that the one when he did that he did at the Capitol, or the one at the church in Memphis? Because that was his
same
last
speech twice? I have no idea. I thought he did it once. Mahalia Jackson.
Mahalia Jackson, right.
Yeah. Mahalia Jackson said that to him. Now, my Mandela effect was I thought Martin Luther King was shot during that speech.
No.
And then someone told me, and I remember the picture of Jesse Jackson at the hotel,
Ralph
at the
Abernathy,
motel. Yeah.
Fred Shuttlesworth, or whatever. I knew Fred Shuttlesworth. I know Jesse Jackson. He's a member of our fraternity as well.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I met. I think through my uncle, and my memory is a shit show.
Mm-hmm.
I met Reverend Al Sharpton.
Yeah, I know Reverend Al.
He's like the sweetest guy in the world.
Really nice.
My memory is really shitty. My uncle was a friend, loved him. My uncle loved
Reverend
him.
Al has so much knowledge. I remember going to the White House and being in meetings with President Obama, and I remember sitting at the end of the table, and Reverend Al would always speak highly of me in front of the President of the United States. And I remember the next time we went back to the White House, I was sitting next to Reverend Al, facing the president in the Roosevelt room.
Really?
We went for President Obama's birthday one time, and he was like, "Hey, you guys want to hang out in the Oval Office?" Like, hell yeah. Hell yeah. I've never been to the Oval Office. And I asked her, I'll never forget, I asked the president, where do you stand when you make a lot of important decisions? And he politely walked me over to a particular window. And and I'm looking at this office like Reagan, John F. Kennedy, Gerald Ford, Jimmy Carter, Bush 1, Bush 2, Eisenhower. Like, I'm literally standing, and it's lit. It's lit like heaven. I think they have lights up in the, what do you call those? Crown molding.
Yeah.
Like, it's lit. Like, lit. Like, it's clean. And President Obama reached down. He gave me these box of presidential M&Ms. So it's a little box, but all the M&Ms are red, white, and blue. And I kept my little napkin where you have your glass on the table and rose. I gathered all. I was just gathering stuff because you were the first Black president of the United States or whatever. You got something to show your kids and your grandkids, So that was freaking awesome to be in the White House, to have an opportunity to be in the Oval Office. That was amazing. And I've always been a political head since I was a kid. When I was a kid, I used to sit there and be quiet and watch President Ford. I always stopped when the president was making a speech. Whether he was Democrat, Republican, I didn't care. Mm-hmm. When the president of the United States or inauguration was going on, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, I would always sit there and watch it with my grandparent. I was always interested. But I know that I would always watch President Ford when he would make a speech. My grandma would call me, the president President Ford speaking because she knew that I just generally had a genuine like for President Ford. I just always liked President Ford as a kid or whatever because he just felt so positive. Felt like he was for everybody. And then Jimmy Carter became
Jimmy Carter's Georgia. Jimmy Carter, my wife. You cannot. How dare you say a word even subtly negative about Jimmy Carter in front of my wife? She loses her fucking mind.
President Jimmy Carter. How do you go from president of the United States to becoming a Sunday school teacher? And I always wanted to go down. And I tried. I could never get my schedule together. I really wanted to meet President Carter before he passed. He was a special person. I know his grandson that ran for governor.
Aaron Carter, the singer?
Jason Carter.
My bad,
man, stop.
Sorry.
I had an opportunity to at least shake his grandson's hand, but I just stupid.
I have 5 jokes in my head. Darren Carter, the party starter?
Right. But I just always loved,
You remember when Reagan got shot?
Oh, yeah, I was in.
Fuck yeah.
I was in the 5th grade. I remember them.
I must have been. You're 56?
Yeah, 56.
I'm 52.
It was my second 5th grade year.
Oh. Dude, I remember when Reagan got shot.
Yeah. He was coming out of that building. I was in the 5th. I remember them rolling the TV in. You know, back then when they rolled that big TV, that's a good day at school.
Do you remember when the shuttle exploded?
Oh yeah, where was
they rolled that in?
I was in the 12th grade. I was a senior.
Bro, we were in Florida. We were watching it go up in the air from Cape Canaveral. We were watching it. And then we were like, what the fuck? And they're like, uh-oh. Bro, in the Miss.
You was watching it?
We were watching it. Miss Bonneau was our Latin teacher, and she would sell nachos on the side. What a fucking shady bitch now when you think about it. For $5 you get, or $2 you get nachos from her. She would make her own nachos. She bought a nacho maker.
Right.
And then.
Y'all have the cheese?
She made great nachos, but you had to pay her. It's like,
right.
Yo, what? You're a teacher. It's a private school. What the fuck are we doing?
Yeah.
And I remember the shuttle exploding. I mean, would you say that me and you, and we have to say we're age adjacent, we're going to put Rogan in this. We're going to put Nick. Steve Harvey's not in it. Steve Harvey's 60 something, right?
I think Steve is 61. No, if I'm 56, he's 66. He's 10 years older than me.
Yeah.
And
put Red
Bruce
Grant,
is 76. We all
Donnell's 79. He was. I know. I read his.
Who?
Donnell Rollins is 79.
You are a lie.
Donnell's 79.
Don't do that,
dude. He used to be a slave. That's true.
No, don't do Donnell Rollins like that. Donnell, come on, no. That's my good friend.
I fucking love.
Ashley Larry.
I love him like a brother. My wife
I
loves
love
him.
Donnell Rollins.
Donnell Rollins could move into my house tomorrow, and we
one of the nicest comics ever. I love Donnell Rollins.
I love that man.
Yeah.
But like our generation, Chappelle, Red Grant, Donnell. I'm only naming black guys. Dion. I'm trying to think of like Bill Burr, Rogan, me, you, of childhoods on a bike in the outdoors. Street lights come on, you come home.
For sure. What you know about that? I thought that was only black kids.
So that was just. So
you had to be before the street lights come on.
No, once they popped on, you were like, I gotta head home.
Oh yeah.
Guys. You saw them come on, you were like, I gotta go.
You better believe it.
Oh, my daughters the other day. When they were during pandemic, I was explaining to them. They were like, How did you know what you're gonna do that day? You didn't have a phone. And I said, you walked outside.
Yeah.
And they're like, what do you mean? I said, you walk outside and I'd yell, Chris.
I'll go to somebody's house. You got a football, a basketball.
Knock on the door and be like,
jump rope, bicycle. Yeah.
And they'd be like, let me hang on, Chris. And he'd be like, yeah, what do you want to do? You're like, manhunt? You're like, cool. And then you just start a game. Start a game. And
we had the first iPad. It was called the Etch-a-Sketch.
I remember that.
Yeah, with the 2 knobs, you write your name. Come on, man.
Our generation had the funnest because we also got cell phones. We got pagers at the right time. I got my first pager.
I thought I was a drug dealer back then, man. Had to pager somebody hit you 411 and all the little code. That was the first text message with the beepers.
I got a pair of Tupac. I got my pager the same week All Eyes on Me came out. What? And I got a pair of khakis and Chucks.
Oh, you thought you was balling. You was hard.
I thought I was black. I was like, I literally got a wife beater and rolled out with a fucking 40, and I was like, guys, change my name to Quate.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. You had a beeper. You was bad.
So we got to enjoy beepers.
Yeah.
We got to enjoy.
You have to go get to a phone so you can call them back. See, I don't know about that. I wish they bring them back. They should bring back beepers just for the hell of it, and you can beep somebody. Because if you beep somebody, you have to put your number in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you press pound and hang up.
Yeah. Or you could text them. We had codes. What was it? God, what was our code?
Yeah, love was one of them.
Yeah. You'd
and
have
411, like
411, 911. What was James Bond's number? James Bond was 007 was one.
Yeah.
And then we had one for smoking weed. Like we're getting high. We got one for, man.
Yeah.
We had one for Coke. What was that? 111? God, man, we had.
But that was the first text message. And then everybody had that one guy in the neighborhood that had a phone in his car. Had the bag phone. Walking through the mall with the bag phone.
I remember when Motorola flip phones came out, 1991.
Yeah.
I saw one. And it was like, I remember them saying that was like $40 a month. And this is back when rent was like $100 a month.
Yeah.
And you were like, what are you doing?
So Corey Holcomb and I.
Corey Holcomb.
Hey, I was the first one to take him on the road out of Chicago.
Hey, man, I'm going to do a TK Kirkland moment. Corey Holcomb's one of the realest motherfuckers out there.
Yeah.
I've loved Corey Holcomb. I've loved Corey Holcomb when Corey Holcomb wasn't Corey Holcomb on Last Comic Standing.
Right.
Back before, when Corey Holcomb was like, whatever, let's see what we can do to make that
I met
bag.
him at All Jokes Aside. He said, hey, man, take me on the road. I was like, okay. I brought him down to South Carolina.
Yeah.
And he rode with me. We drove to Birmingham or whatever. We got into an argument in the car.
Of course.
Because we were arguing about Krispy Kreme donuts versus Dunkin' Donuts. He's from Chicago. I said, he said, I never heard of Krispy Kreme. I said, well, why would you say that Dunkin' Donuts is better than Krispy Kreme and you never had Krispy Kreme donuts? He said, well, we're going to bet $25. I think I was driving a Jeep Cherokee, a 95 Jeep Cherokee. Yeah. So we was in Columbia, South Carolina, I think the one on Two Notch Road somewhere. Why not?
This is how you know you're on the road too much. You know the one just off fucking, know that microtel up in Iowa?
Right. Boom, we pull up in Krispy Kreme. They got the hot sign. I said, I'll be right back. I go in there and get a dozen of donuts. And I get in the car and say, you about to give me my $25. Because $25 was like $2,500 back then.
Yeah.
And I open up the box. When I opened up the box, the windows got foggy. Corey said, hell no. He got a donut. And I had got some milk or something or whatever. And I set the stuff in. And he ate that donut. And I just remember him going. He just looked over at me and the conversation was over. The conversation was over.
God damn.
Yeah. Love Corey.
I love Corey Holcomb.
Yeah. Funny.
Corey Holcomb, I'm just only to give flowers.
He wrote that joke on my special. That's a joke I got from Corey Holcomb.
Which one?
The one about making love to the big girl. You probably haven't got that far yet.
No, I haven't.
Oh, wait, that's a Corey Holcomb joke. He wasn't using it no more, and I was a big fan of the joke, and I said, I want to connect that to my 600-pound life.
Yeah.
So I called him. I said, do you still? He said, man, I haven't done that joke in years. I said, can I have it? He said, hell yeah, you can have it. So he gave it to me, and I used it.
Me and Tom Segura, and I say this, our affinity for the culture has been there since day one. Just two white guys. We were featuring at the Brea Improv and sometimes headlining and featuring, switching back and forth. Mm-hmm. We're young comics.
Yeah.
And Dan Godfrey pulled us aside one night and he goes, what do you guys know about Corey Holcomb? We're like, yeah, he's the guy on Last Comic Standing. And he's like, nah, that's not who he is.
Yeah.
He's fucking unfiltered. You gotta come out one night. I'll book you guys. You gotta watch Corey Holcomb. And Tom and I went out and watched Corey Holcomb, and both of us were like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah.
He is fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And he's never bit his tongue. And it's one of the cool things one of the things I love about talent is when they don't bite tongues and they just say what they want to say.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. I think it happens. I know for a fact I'm way too guilty of it today. It's because you have so much to lose.
I just hate cancel culture. Let the comics perform. Let the comics do their jokes.
Yeah.
And if you're offended, don't watch.
Don't watch.
Period. It's
Don't
not
watch
for
it.
everybody.
And I'm going to say that also to the people. Like, I think it happens both ways.
Yeah.
I think there's people that go, I'm going to get outraged by, a transgender person speaking at a city council meeting. It's not your fucking lane. Stay out of it. Let that kid dye their hair pink and say their pronouns and yell, and let them be them, and let you be you, and let us all be each other.
Right.
It's like I mean, there's some comics out there that are not my speed and not my thing.
Right.
And I can enjoy them.
Right.
And it's like, your special right now is on Hulu. And I personally, I'm a Netflix guy, but like, I think Hulu's doing it really right. Everyone they put out there, they've got, Santino's on Hulu. Mm-hmm. They've got Burr's on Hulu.
Roy Wood Jr.
Wood Jr.
We come from the same radio, so he's from Birmingham.
Roy Wood Jr. is like an old head in comedy.
Yes.
And he has the most youthful looking face in the fucking world, but that guy's been doing it since Jesus lost his sandals. I mean, he's been doing it forever.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, Roy's like my little brother. But I just think that I don't care about cancel culture. That's what I tried to do with my special. I just went out there and performed for my fans and didn't worry about who got offended. I don't think nobody would get offended because they was too busy laughing.
So it's the difference. I was saying this to them watching you today, and I think we were watching some older of yours, and I said the thing is you can't cancel something that people laugh at.
Right.
It's like if people are laughing, then you can't cancel it. And it's the thing about what's going on right now and in Austin with Austin's just wild. I mean, they're taking big swings. I'd say you look back at that. You ever see that old Patrice O'Neal clip where he goes in and talks about the angry pirate, where you come in the girl's eye, and they're on Fox News,
right.
And the one girl goes, he says there's an angry pirate where you come in her eye, and the cameramen start laughing, and he's like, are you not outraged by them laughing?
Right.
And it's like, if it's funny, it's funny, and that's where you draw the line. And if it's not funny. And by the way, I've had friends where it's on the fence.
Right.
I love Tony Hinchcliffe, but he did that national convention. He said the thing about Puerto Rico. I watched it with Leanne. We were in the fucking Oregon airport. Mm-hmm. I laughed. I was like, oh, it's a good joke.
Yeah.
I was like, maybe, maybe not the right place, I guess. But at the same time, I go,
I don't overthink it. I just look at something that is funny. I just laugh and enjoy it, and that's it.
Brother. You're special. You are special. Everything about you is special.
Thank you.
You do not become you by accident. And that's the truth. Mm. Your success, your longevity, your track record is not an accident. And I will simply say, in closing in this podcast, it is an honor and a privilege to sit across from you.
Thank you, man.
Because as a man who's come through Atlanta a million times, and I know how big your show is, I go, man, one day that would be cool as shit. And there's a couple shows I remember that they used to have that Bert show.
Yeah.
The Bert show. I always wanted to be on the Bert show.
Yeah.
So I was like, yo, I'm Bert.
Right.
Right. But like you, Breakfast Club, Steve Harvey, you guys are like the pillars of entertainment.
Thank you, man.
And it is an honor and privilege. And everyone check out his special right now on Hulu. It's called Foolish. You are the man.
It's funny as hell.
If you don't
from beginning to end.
From beginning to end, you are a consummate professional.
Thank you, baby.
And I can't wait to work with you.
And congratulations to you, man, and everything that you have accomplished, man. I'm sitting here. I'm on your show. You know. I know I have a radio show, but I'm on your show,
buddy.
Right now.
When I need to move tickets in Atlanta, I'm gonna come by your show.
Come on.
I don't even know if we have a date in Atlanta, but let me try. Trust me, I know where you're syndicated. I'll hit you up.
I'm coming to one of your shows though. Get ready. I'm going to show up. Even if I don't do nothing, I just want to come and just hang out.
It's fun, man.
Yeah.
It's different.
I
know
got a
lot of white guys ripping their shirts off.
Hey, I want to see it for myself. I got to see it. I just want to be in the space.
Hell yeah. It's like Freaknik for white guys.
Come on. Thank you, man.
Thank you, brother.
This episode was brought to you by The Machine.